All right. So, session 3 of the Sunday Crew, named TBD, is underway. So, welcome back, boys. Thank you for indulging me a little bit while I dealt with the complete destruction of my life. It's great. Thank you.
Now that's over.
Yeah. Now that that's over. So. Last time that we played, GM Scott was not here. So today we're going to be doing 2 sets of sort of prologues. One is going to be a prologue given by a member of the party. Cannot be Dennis Boothby because he gave it last time. And this is an opportunity for kind of the player to catch us up on what happened and potentially, if it's satisfactory, recover a condition. And then we'll find out from GM Scott where Tain was during all that time and how did he gain access to the sealed room.
We find him tied up because the rattling tied him up.
That's not a bad possibility. And then, as a quick reminder for everybody, as we prepare for this, number one, all of you, well, no, okay, except for GM Scott, but all of you have checks, persona, and fate points, or I should say checks, fate, and persona points. So just as a quick reminder, you can spend those fate points to press your luck after a die roll, which lets you explode the 6s. You can also use your fate points when you help someone to help with synergy, which lets you mark a pass or a fail, depending on whether the person you helped pass or fail on your skill that you helped with. And you can also use them with your wises to re-roll a failed die roll if it applies to your wise. Persona, much more powerful. Persona could be just added. You can spend a point to add straight up a D6 to any die roll, regardless of anything else. You can also spend it if your wise applies to re-roll all failures, which is a huge bonus. And then Persona can also let you tap into your nature. And if you tap into your nature, you get to add your nature dice to whatever roll you're making. Now, if this is inside of your nature, you're mostly protected. But if it's outside of your nature, if you you may end up lowering your nature as a result of that. But it's a good way to potentially add 3 or 4 or 5 dice to a die roll that is very, very much needed. All right. Well, who wants to start us off with a prologue?
That's up to you guys. I thought I was going to get rid of sick with the prologue, so whatever works for you guys.
I still think it's meaningful. You've got only 2 checks. There's not a assured reality that I am able even to clear the anger. So I think you go for it.
Okie dokies.
All right, Matt, break it down.
All right, I might butcher some of these names, but just smile, point, and laugh at me. All right. Our tale begins in the four-bodying cobweb spider camp that we made. Place thick with a scent of age and decay. We, the brave adventurers, brave being a loosely term, gathered in the eerie cobwebs that cling to the walls, hoping that they serve as a lifeline or an uncertain rope. Sadak, the resourceful halfling, thought he could scale the webs to find a way out, but alas, his plan failed. Yet, in the darkest of moments, fortune smiled upon us as we stumbled upon the altered path, a passage to an unknown realm beneath. I'm sorry, above. I'm finishing up a sinus infection, so just work with me.
Right.
The hallways that awaited us were vast and endless, stretching further than we could see, lined with countless doors. Among the dust and shadows, we found something curious: a piece of lint, an odd detail in an amazing world. Carnalus, our elven guide, was determined to find a route back to the top, but every step the path only grew more twisted and perplexing. As we pressed forward, we entered a long, crumbling hallway. Each step echoed in the silence. There, at the end of the corridor, we met with an awe-inspiring sight: a massive archway crowded with a figure of a stone dragon. From its nostrils, blue mist poured forth, a warning of danger that lay beyond. The room beyond the archway was filled with several other doors, each one more mysterious than the last. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Carnalus, ever bold, lost his footing and fell into a pit trap. The darkness below hid something chilling, an abandoned child's body, lifeless in the depths. It was a grim discovery, but there was no time for mourning. As Carnalus recovered the body, the party sought out the source of the blue mist, only to find Carnalus stumbling into another trap. This time, however, his quick reflexes spared him the fall, just a narrow escape from certain doom. Also, we figured out that some other party came in and looted the body and just left it there. Jerks. The dragon archway loomed above us. Its enormous stone doors standing marked by a circular symbol and a single mysterious handle. But it wasn't just a door, it was a puzzle. We ascended a staircase that we found that was off to the right, I guess. As we moved upward, we noticed strange signs of traffic, small clawed footprints scattered along the stone. Leading both up and down, child-sized, they suggested that others had passed here before. Our path ended at the well, its depth hidden in shadow, while Titans served as a makeshift ladder leading back up to the surface. Not willing to leave any stone unturned, we returned to the dragon door. Carnalus, ever cautious now, because he kept falling into traps, searched for more traps. And then he found the keyhole, nestled in the dragon's mouth. Hesitant but determined, we attempted to unlock the door, only to be met with a fierce spray of poison blasting out of the dragon's nostrils. A sharp reminder of the dangers that await us. But we did not falter. Stoddok, Herber, and Carnalus worked in unison, their skills combining to pick the lock. Another poisonous blast followed, but it paid off. We turned the handle and opened the door. Beyond the door lay a room bathed in an eerie blue light, ancient elven script etched in the walls. Karna stepped forward, intent and deciphering the writings. But before he could even begin, we were ambushed. 6 rattling thieves materialized from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with malice and intent. They had come not to fight, but to steal. Their swift movements and cunning nature caught us off guard, but we were victorious. After the battle, the rattlings running, we managed to force the door shut, trapping the thieving rats outside. They were persistent, but our resolve was stronger. We camped in the room, our minds whirling with the mysteries that still surrounded us. The blue light, the ancient script, the creatures of this place, they were all part of a greater puzzle. We had survived the day, but answers we sought remained inclusive. What did the elven script reveal? What dangers still lurk in the shadows of this forsaken place? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, our journey is far from over.
Sick. All right, good job. All right, laughing. Go ahead.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, that's a high bar. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you guys thought I was going to do that.
I was just saying, like I was saying, imagine if Bob had done that. All right, well, Herber, you can go ahead and clear your angry condition. And as a reminder,
people like me, I'm not mad anymore.
As a reminder, so Bob, who plays Carnalos, our elf ranger, he is currently exhausted. You can see that on his little icon there, and that means that Bob's ability to use his instinct for free is hampered because he is kind of exhausted and tired. Meanwhile, Ryan, playing Sadok the Saddlebelly the halfling, is both angry and sick. He kind of got shit on by traps a lot last session. Tain the Untrusting coming back to us. We'll get to GM Scott here in a minute. It's conditionless. Boothby playing Amos Sheepsguard, the human theurge. It's like a cleric who doesn't like worship gods. He just steals their power directly. It has no conditions. And then after curing their anger, Erber is both exhausted and sickened. So sharing a mix of what Ryan and Bob has as well. So those two have been taking the brunts. Jim Scott. Tain was missing. Where has Tain been?
Well, I hope you don't expect me to have to
Nope.
follow that
Nope.
performance.
Nope.
Sorry, dude.
So, Tain the Untrusting, frustrated with having failed his cartography roll, his first real cartography roll. Doing this out in the wilds near the tower has always been easy, but after the harrowing chase of the skeletons and just everything going on, having to deal with all these people, he really did not remember all of the things that he had seen that day, and he was having a hard time making a map. We made camp, ate food, we felt much better. Everyone started to rest for the night, but not Tain. He awoke in the middle of the night, frustrated still, could not get the failure of his map out of the mind. So he kind of went off on his own and went back into the areas between the skeleton area and the webbed area to try and remember some of the things that he had seen. But as much as he doesn't trust people, he also really didn't feel comfortable down there. In fact, it didn't take very long for him to become terrified of being alone in a dungeon in an area where he was only mostly familiar with. So he was hearing noises, and he holed up in a little corner, not too far away from the party, because he didn't make it very far before he became afraid. And he probably stayed there for a while, drinking wine to keep from getting hungry and thirsty. And he eventually just followed the party as they traveled. He didn't want to come back without a good map, so he followed the party, witnessing what they had done. But when they got in trouble, he kind of backed off because he didn't like the blue smoke. But having seen them go into that room, he realized that maybe he should go in there too. So he is going to use his thieves' tools and his criminal skill to try and. Well, actually, I'm narrating, so I would have succeeded. This might have been my success check, maybe, that I get from this if I do a good job. And he ends up opening the door, unfortunately, to rejoin the party.
Unfortunately, as the party is sitting down to do camp, you guys hear the sound of someone messing with the door on the other side. The door sounds like it has been unlocked, but of course it is heavily spiked from your side. A brief conversation emerges. You guys, there's discussion of whether or not you should kill them or not. But then, Tain, you hear a voice come out softly from the thick stone door.
Hey, let me in.
It's me.
Hey.
It's me, Tain. The rats are gone. It's totally fine.
He has ratophobia. That's
Right.
why they come in.
However, as you reopen the door, you find a beleaguered and bewildered Tain, still looking untrusting, who looks like shit after spending the last, 24 hours alone in the dark of the dungeon, getting separated from you guys. He seems very pleased to see you and rejoins the party. All right, Tain, well, you can go ahead and mark a pass or fail on any skill.
Excellent.
All right.
Thought it was my thieving brother.
Yes. Additionally, I'm going to switch over to the inventory view here. So real quick, looking at the party's inventory, you guys, I think, are down to your final 2 torches. Karnalos has 2 torches. Sadak has 1 burning, but that's it. None on Tain, none on Amos, and Erber has 4.
Candles?
Erber has 4 candles. So remember, candles only light 1 square. This room that you're in has dim illumination, naturally, because of the glowing blue light. But additionally, just as for people who may not have remembered from last time, or even from our own party members, Karnalos lost his quiver in the rattling skirmish. So he has a bow, just no arrows and no quiver. You guys still have a shitload of wine. So there's that. And then other than that, you have a small handful of silver and a few miscellaneous odds and ends. Erber's down a helmet. And
I'm down a helmet. I'm down thieves' tools.
and a crossbow.
Yeah, I got messed up last time.
And of course, here with you in this blue room, glowing room, is the dead body of Kurt, the peasant boy, which you guys took about. So, the glowing blue light here lines the stone tiles covering the chamber. The chamber is empty, save for several large pillars that flank it. But on the other side, it narrows down into a 10-foot wide opening to the east, beyond which is darkness. Bold runes in an ancient elven script are inscribed around and above the opening. Speak, friend, and enter. This, having resealed the door, is where you guys were going to camp, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start off with a bang by going into camp.
Yeah.
Now, we already rolled all our camp events and all of our camp stuff last time, so we're good there. No disruptions or anything like that. So that means that you guys can now go into camp mode. So amongst other things, this means that this will reset the grind. And it means that you guys are now in camp.
Does that also beliefs, creed, goal, that kind of stuff?
Oh, you know what, Herbert? Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so now that we've done the prologue and we've set the stage where you guys are at, you're in this room, you know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Now you guys have the opportunity to write your session goals and share them with the party. And if you want to change your belief or your instinct, now would be the time. And usually, if you're going to change your belief and your instinct, again, you can change it at the end of the session or the beginning of the session. You can't change it in the middle. And if you do, explain to us why. And then, in terms of a goal, you can pick whatever goal you want, of course, remember. But it has to be smart, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, actionable, reasonable, timely.
So mine last time was to find a way out of the dungeon. We did find a way out.
Correct.
We just haven't actually gone out.
Right.
So I assume if no one else is going to take it, and we'll obviously discuss here very quickly, but I would like to get out of the dungeon.
Right. That's not much of a so that's not much of a good goal because you guys know that the dungeon entrance is like right there. You could have literally left last time. You just chose not to.
Yeah, which is part of what I was thinking. I was like, well, Sadok is angry. He sees our rations are low. He also sees the torches are limited, but the food is low.
Now, Bob, a goal might be get the party back to town.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's the ultimate goal.
Right.
Yeah, to get out of the dungeon is to get back to where we can. Well, like we don't got a lot of money, but I want to buy some torches.
The problem is,
I don't know that you can afford torches.
I know.
We
don't even have enough gold or silver to
do
anything with.
Yeah, we don't. I don't think it'll be enough money to freaking buy dinner, let alone freaking torch. Hell, I don't even have a weapon anymore. Technically, a rattling dagger. Oh, speaking of Sadok, I throw you my freaking garlic because I want to put the dagger around my neck. And since you used it last time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's convince the party to leave. That's a good goal because the conversation at camp does not seem very focused on leaving. And
so I will go.
Isn't that you can use your check for a conflict, convince us to leave, right?
Yes, that's correct. He can use a check and initiate a conflict with the party and convince them to leave. And if he succeeds, then you are honor bound to do that. And then, but if he fails, if you guys win, then he has been convinced that we need to stay. We've come this far. What are we going to do? Let the other crew steal our treasure as they've been stealing our treasure for the last several days?
Yeah, my belief. I believe that I should not leave the dungeon empty-handed.
Right. Well, that's your belief. Yeah. Like I'm talking about though. You can change that if you want to, but
no, I'm good with that.
You do need to set a goal. So
the goal is I will find something valuable. So I'm not leaving until I find something valuable.
Okay.
And then I'd like to change my instinct to because of all the traps that we ran into. I want to my instinct be search for traps when it's how do I put it? I don't want to say it sort of sounds stupid, but search for traps when it seems like there'll be a trap around. I don't really know how to like elegantly say that right now. My head's a little freaking cloudy.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the key with an instinct, it does have to be somewhat specific. So you should
Yeah.
pick something like, an instinct might be like search for traps in a doorway or search for traps in intersection. Just always be searching for traps. Not really a good instinct. You want
Right.
to describe what are the conditions that have to exist that would make your character, and when it looks like a trap, not really very specific. So it should be something concrete,
Well,
something
like-
that we can point to.
Like when I had the will always scavenge when it's safe for me to for
Right.
me to, that was sort of like didn't work because I found lint.
Right.
So
Well, you just rolled badly.
think about changing, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying
I was
you
thinking
kind
about
of
changing that to like scavenge when when it would be more be a higher option of finding something
Right.
valuable.
But you
like
won't
at
know
the
that.
bottom of the trap or
right.
whatever.
But the problem is you won't know that. So that's why it's got to be something that's very like clearly understandable, like in the fiction that you can like point to and
Right.
say like that. So like for example, you might like a good example. I'm not saying that you should do this, but it's like whenever we encounter whenever we encounter creatures, scavenge their lair, right? Like that's an example of like where you have a very specific condition and then the instinct triggers.
Yeah, searching for traps in the direction we were going doesn't really make doesn't really work.
Who is the party leader?
I think I was it last time, wasn't I?
I think it's GM Scott.
Jim Scott was our default.
I was the leader
Yeah.
before I
Yeah.
ran off, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah, I just don't know if I trust you being the leader. these days.
So Bob is okay. So Bob became the leader. Bob stays the
Yeah.
leader because it was bequeathed unto him. All right. So Bob, you're our leader. So
Woo!
everybody coordinate your goals. Decide if you want to update your instincts and beliefs, and
Yeah.
then we can go ahead and get started.
So I'm going with the get the party back to town.
Okay.
My goal is going to be to deliver Kurt the body of Kurt the shepherd boy to his shepherd home.
Okay. That's good. Both of those are very good, specific. Look at you.
My previous goal of recovering the Dragonbone dagger seems less accomplishable the more I know about this dungeon. And at this point, I almost want to learn more about the ratlings. Now, I'm hoping that we can get to town and get back.
That's a tough order. Town can take a time. So-
Okay. All right. So
Well,
maybe something in town.
We don't have much to do. We don't have the money for town, unfortunately.
You're going to have a rough go in town right now because you guys are broke as shit.
Yeah.
If we don't find something valuable, we're not gonna.
It's gonna.
Be
You're
able
having a
to
really
find-
hard. You guys have, I think, like 2 dice of treasure.
We have whatever these silver things. We have 3 of these silver things.
Yeah. So you have 3 dice of treasure.
Then I have 1 resource.
Then we
Right.
have
So
our own
right. So
personal
the
one.
rest of you can't even make resource checks. The only person who's even allowed to make a resource check is Erber. For you guys to make a resource check, you have to spend the coin, and once you spend it, it's gone. So yeah, you guys are in a rough spot.
Yeah, we really just need to we need to get lucky in like 1 try and then get back to town.
Right. Now remember, you did go through this locked door,
Yeah.
which you was out, which you're not supposed to go through.
But if we can get a mapping check done on this room, we can pass
Yeah.
through the door without a challenge anymore.
Well,
right?
if we just made camp, I have
Well,
my
we're-
instinct to
we are
trigger.
going to make camp, but
Right.
Matt pointed out correctly that you guys need to set goals. So
Now, can I make a goal of successfully make a map at camp?
no.
It hasn't happened yet.
Can a goal be? I want to get our group out of here.
No, because that's
Standing.
I mean, it can,
like,
but
like not
that,
hurt.
like that's basically aligned with Bob's goal, and you guys
Right,
can do
yeah.
that. But if you do that,
Yeah.
if you guys get yourself back to town, only one of you can get the persona point. The other one will get a fate point.
Well, I want to impress my group with my bravery.
Okay.
And my belief is I want to keep our spirits high. I want to change that, but I don't know. I wish I spent a little bit more time. I'm I want it to be basically, I want to make sure I advocate for our safety, despite our own ambition.
So a belief
Something
might,
like that.
yeah. So, you know, I get what you're saying. You know, something. I'm trying to think. Let's try
Almost
like
put the
Okay.
group
like
safety.
well, remember
over
it's
the,
a belief. Like so, it's like
Right.
you know,
'Cause right now it's
so
like-
so you might
I-
say our lives are more valuable than gold,
Yeah. Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Originally, it was I will keep our spirits high,
yeah. Or
so that good things will happen to us. But I still think it's unmorale. But it's more so like
well, I mean,
I'll-
like if you're talking
yeah.
about safety, like I asked ChatGPT,
Yeah.
it's like safety before silver.
Okay.
You know,
All
like
right, I like it. It's nice.
you
So
know,
as long as we're going for gold or something else other than silver, we're good, right?
no.
Silver, safety, then gold as a
Yeah, right.
All right, I'm gonna try that one out.
So remember, the key to fulfilling a belief is that if you make discrete, concrete actions
Yeah.
that are in line with that belief, then that's how you earn that belief reward.
Right. So if basically we're put in a position where there's gold or treasure, but clear chance of danger.
Yes.
To-
And you advocate for your belief,
Yeah.
and you can dissuade or do something to that effect. Then yes. All right.
Right.
Scott, did you end up on a goal?
No, I'm still trying to think about one, and yeah, I was thinking about maybe getting something useful from my alchemist friend in town, but I have nothing to offer them. So
We don't know that. There's lots of stuff you can figure out between now and then.
That's true.
Would it be
That's
to
true.
learn more about like the we're in this really spooky room that's filled with azure light?
Well, and that was a question I had for the description of this room, right? The detailed description. Is this a featureless room, or is there? I heard you say something about Ballock, right? Speak friend and enter. But is there anything else in this room that I could possibly remember with my scholar and learn more about? And could that be a goal to figure out what the purpose of this room is? Is that something that's even reasonable?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way: you're in this room, so I mean, a goal might be like, you know, because obviously this room was locked, right? So, I would say maybe a more appropriate goal would be to like, you know, explore this, you know, just explore this locked vault or whatever it is, you know, like, and figure out why was this behind this dragon door guarded by this poison gas trap, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering about that because, like, I thought those little feet were like kobolds, but they are ratlings. So I figure kobolds, dragon, yada yada. Now we're dealing with ratlings through a dragon door. What's around on
Well, remember the
other side
rattlings came up from behind you.
Well, I mean, like in the same area is what I'm saying. I would figure that if it was a dragon door, the kobolds would be more stationed here than ratlings.
Yeah, unless they came in after, maybe.
All right.
But I don't really know what kobolds are anyway, so just whatever.
Right. So, all right. So for the goal, then explore this dragon vault. But I'm also changing my belief.
Okay.
No longer do I feel that people are not worth my trust. Because I think they are at this point. I'm going to change my belief to say I must help my comrades be more thoughtful, right? Consider every angle before they jump into a pit trap, perhaps.
Right, but you know, as a belief, you should really it should come off as something that like you believe, right? Like when you just described there was more of a goal.
Okay.
You know,
which is funny because I copied it right from one of the beliefs, but
yeah.
But
in this instance, you know, it's
so as a believe, I believe the elf or my party does not or needs to consider every angle, needs to think before they act.
Yeah, or they need to
think more.
Yeah, or you know, look before they
plan.
leap or whatever.
Yeah, needs to plan more.
All right,
before they act.
That's fine. Yeah, that's what you believe.
Which goes hand in hand with one of my traits of thoughtful.
Yeah. Okay, then. So we're all good? All right, cool. All right, camp phase initiated. All right, so you guys get a fire going to provide some warmth and light. Camp instincts that you may have whenever I camp. Blah 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 blah. I don't know who's got those still.
Wish we had a cook.
Well, I believe none of us are hungry, so I believe I already made that check because I didn't have the garlic either.
Okay, so you made
Yeah,
it.
you
Was
did.
already
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, by the
We did
way,
instinct.
even if everyone was, I mean, I think you're right, Ryan. Everyone was hungry, and then you did it. Even if everybody wasn't hungry, you would still have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the instincts. We just didn't do the and then we just cut it off there.
So
just we
Tain,
didn't forget.
because Tain is here now, Tain, you get your instinct.
Sweet.
All right, I will attempt.
Here, I give you the notes of my map though. All the notes I was doing.
Unfortunately, that makes the check a lot higher.
Does it?
Because I'm using someone else's notes.
Yep. If the information is
mind.
transmitted by notes, it's OB2 base. If it's areas that you've personally surveyed, it's OB1 based.
So, God, how do I do this again?
What you trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to get the die roll window to open.
Okay.
I can't remember how to do that.
That's all right. It's been a while.
I'm in edit mode. Never mind.
Yes, that's step one.
There we go. Okay. So I have my cartographer roll open. It is going to be it's a versus, right? And you have to give me the ob at some point.
It is not a versus.
Oh, it's independent?
It is an independent. Versus is when you're going up against somebody.
Oh, that's right. Okay. My cartographer is 3.
So
I don't have a trait to use with this unless I want to use thoughtful and take my time.
So the thing is what are you cartographizing?
Everything.
Okay.
That's going to be a higher ob, right?
Correct. Yeah, so it's going to be OB2 for a moderate sized area. And it's OB1 if you're just doing a couple of rooms. But if you're doing everything you've been through, that's 2. And then this is the information these are the places you have been.
Yes.
So that's +1. So the total ob is 3.
Okay. So I have 3 dice.
Yes.
And because it's an instinct, can I use a trait?
Yep.
Okay.
And
I have my
people can help you, but only if they have an instinct which is similar or they have a nature that may help you.
Okay. Does anyone have a nature that may help me?
Well, I have a
this
nature
map?
called remembering, but I don't think it's this. I didn't know if it is
Sounds
like me
plausible.
remembering versus like helping.
No, I
someone
think it's your
remember.
character remembering, which is probably going to be.
That sounds reasonable to me.
I would try to remember and help you when you start to talk about the rooms. Like, oh yeah, I know the skeleton with the shiny necklace. That was the first thing we did.
Yeah.
Can I use delving to help?
Absolutely.
So while he's like doing, I'm like, oh wait, don't forget, like that doesn't if you put that there, the structure of the building might not work as well. So it's got to go over here.
All right, yeah.
All right.
The delving expertise of the dwarf, the ancient memory of the elf, those can both help you for 2 dice there, GM Scott. So you can add those on helping dice.
All right.
You
Done that.
Good, great. Do you have any ink, paper, parchment, cloth, or charcoal?
Probably not because they weren't available at the beginning of the game.
That's correct, and no one has scavenged them or created them or otherwise bought them. So you have no supplies.
We have some lint.
You have no gear. That unfortunately can't help. But
Put some blood. Write it in blood.
I think collected charcoal.
Yes, well, I have charcoal. Remember?
I have collected charcoal in my notes, but I don't know why.
I took charcoal from the fire, and we were using it to mark. So I have charcoal.
Well, there you go. Well, now you won't have charcoal, but GM Scott can use that as supplies.
Fantastic.
And then I'll grab some more charcoal after this fire goes out.
Okay, so that is 5 dice. Why is it only 5 dice?
Well, because you have 3
I
and
didn't
2.
I didn't click off of it yet.
Yeah, right.
So I have 6 dice versus ob 3.
Yep.
Let's see it.
All right.
Got it.
Oh, thank
Hey!
Yeah, buddy.
God. I almost used a trait against myself. I'm glad I didn't.
You don't believe in yourself.
Well, I was going to go too fast, right? I was thoughtful against myself.
All right.
Ah,
So, you have succeeded, and
Finally.
Tain is able to create a map. So your map contains.
Heard about these things.
Yeah, I've heard about these things, these legendary things. So Tain's map includes everywhere where he has been. So that means it includes the ancient tomb, the web-filled passages, the camp where you guys originally stayed, the empty halls, the Hall of Azure Mists, the Dark Earthen Hole, back up to the Circle of Stones, and the Reliquary where you currently are.
Does it include town?
Nope.
Okay.
That is a huge win for the group right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I think that's valuable.
Yes. Now remember, the way that it works is a couple things. Number one, Tain has the map. This is now an object. It does not take a spot in your inventory, Tain, but it could get lost or destroyed in a twist. Like if you lose your backpack or something like that, you can lose the map. So it is a physical object. It just doesn't take a slot in your inventory, like your pots and pans and stuff. As
And
long
you better not go on vacation again.
Yeah. As long as you have light to read by and you are currently in a location which is on your map, then you can essentially fast travel to any location that is on your map as long as the situation or circumstances hasn't concerned. For example, if the earthen shaft collapsed, then you couldn't fast travel back up to the Circle of Stones because physically it is impossible if something else. But right now, where you're at right now, you could fast travel back to the ancient tomb with the skeletons. You could fast travel back from where you're in now, right now, through the empty halls to the web-filled passages back to the camp that you made when you guys camped there overnight. So you can travel to any of those locations on your map. Additionally, your instinct helped the party, so it's also a past roll, GM Scott, so you can mark that. And
Can we make copies of that map?
you can with a cartographer check.
They think of everything.
Just in case.
Yes, you can totally do that. So, all right. Well, now you're in camp, and you guys have 2 checks from. Remember, you can split them up as much as you want or can. The only difference is that you guys can't take 2 in a row of the same person, and you can split them up however you want. So essentially, you have 5 checks as a group, but no one can compel someone to give up their checks if they don't want to. If they want to use their checks for something, they can. But you have 5 as a group.
Is exhausted just what's the roll?
So I think it's actually on your character sheet.
Yeah, it's health 3.
Health OB3. Okay. I would like to try that first if no one has a issue.
So my understanding, recovery rolls, they can never
Twist you.
twist.
Yeah.
So we should do the recovery rolls first.
Okay.
In case
So
we
I
lose
have
our.
2. I'm exhausted and sick. I have 2 checks. How many checks do we have?
I have 2, but I hypothetically, I assume you can't make the same check twice, right, Derek? I know not in a row, but can you do it after like someone else?
I don't know what you just asked.
Okay, I'm gonna try to recover my exhausted.
Okay, great.
And
You
quote,
spend a
unquote,
check.
fail,
Spend a
and then
check.
someone else goes, and then am I allowed to go again?
Yeah,
if
but you can't try to recover from your exhausted. You can only do that once per camp.
That's what I was asking.
Yep.
So I have one that I'm using for exhausted. And I have one that anyone could use for a condition.
Or whatever check they want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you or Uber should go try and recover first.
All right. Now, can anybody help with these, Derek?
Nope.
Okay, here we go. Whap, whap.
Still exhausted, but the costs a check. All right. Karanalos tries to take some rest and recovery, but he does not find it in these ancient halls. The powerful spirits of elven death still haunt his memory, and he is unable to recover from the weariness that has seeped deep into his bones. He may never not be exhausted again. Bob, mark a failure on your health. You have to have like 8 failures. You have to be maxed on failures. You have to.
I'm close.
Okay.
I got 2 out of 3 there.
All right. I
It's
will
my scout
try
that
my
I'm real
best.
bad in.
Okay.
Here we go. Nope.
Dang.
Now,
Herber, you find no respite in this horrible, deadly place.
That's because the elf and the dwarf are constantly bickering, though.
They're not bickering. He's just always wrong.
That's
had
true.
they had
Always wrong.
cloaks, had they had cloaks, that would have helped them a little bit?
Correct. Cloaks count as gear for recovery from health, from exhausted. But alas, no cloaks. Armor and backpack.
And merrymaking only helps angry. Or it can only be
Angry, afraid,
Yeah,
the emotional states of things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just one quick question. It says health 4, but on my sheet it says 5. Why is that?
Great question. It's because you're sick, and sick
Got it.
is -1 die, but it does not affect recovery dice. So you should have rolled an extra die. However, it wouldn't have mattered. But
I
yes,
just wanted to make sure what was going on.
yeah, that's why. Because when you're sick, you get -1 die to all skill rolls, all nature rolls, all will rolls, all health rolls, but it does not affect your recovery. You also cannot practice, you cannot learn, and you cannot advance when you're sick.
If he would have rolled a 6, could he exploded it?
If he had a fate point, he does. So yeah, he could have.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Roll that one extra dice.
I'll roll an extra
No, I
d6
get
for Herber.
Nice catch, Bob.
All
Maybe
right.
it's a 6.
It is not a 5.
I rolled
So it was not a 6. So he got
I didn't roll that. You did. That's not fair.
he got two 6s.
Bob, that's
Or
important.
he got 2 successes, I should say.
Amos, you have a check, right?
Yes.
So you're trying, and
Mine will cause a twist if I fail,
Oh, okay.
potentially.
So you're good because I was thinking you're trying to do something with your herber or your herd or
Yes. I must purify myself.
Well, if you don't mind, and you hear the popping of a cork as Sadok sits back with his belly full on his garlicky soup and drinks from his water skin. So I want to try and make a will roll.
Yep, angry is I think a will ob 2. Yep,
That's
will
what
of
it
2.
says yeah.
If you consume a dose of wine, you get a +1 die for this. It counts as supplies.
Additional guy supplies. Okay. All right.
Well, you should have 6 dice for this, Sadok. Oh, but wait, but before you roll, make sure you uncheck because you're going to get that -1 die for your sick. You shouldn't have that. It does not apply to recovery checks.
Yeah. So how do I
don't know.
uncheck
You can
that?
just add an extra die or something. I don't know.
All right. I'll do a second one. There you go.
As long as you're rolling 6 dice.
60. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, all right. Well, Sadok gets drunk as shit, and that helps him recover from being angry. But you're still sick, and so it's like hair of the dog. You're just like, I'm just going to get drunk instead. All right. Well, that's another check gone. So you guys have 3 checks left.
Mm-hmm. And should we have Herber try his other one? Oh, where's my screen? This one. Herber try his other one. Go back to you, Ryan.
Can't do it.
Why?
Well, because he failed his
He has to
exhausted.
be unexhausted first.
And you
have to
can't undo the exhausted because you can't get to the other one first.
Yes, you could, and you have
then
to.
It has to be Amos. Okay.
And it goes in recovery order.
So you can only try and recover once per camp phase.
Well, no
condition.
No, like you could recover afraid and then recover angry and then recover
but we're
exhausted.
locked out because exhausted is before, so I had to get rid of exhausted to even attempt to do the next one.
Right.
And since I failed, since Matt failed, we couldn't even attempt a second one because we can't attempt the same one.
You can attempt something else if there's anything else you have that won't
but I don't really,
potentially result in a twist. I don't know what that would be.
I don't know what anything I need to do in camp other than was to keep us going.
The exception is you do have to recover from dead before you recover from the other conditions. So there is that.
So at this point, we're probably in checks that would require or could result in twists. So
I mean, you've recovered from your anger, right?
Yeah, so I'll check that.
Yep. And then Bob made his check failed. Herber made his check failed, so they're done there.
Well, I should mark success.
Can't go back to fourth or can't go back to back, so it has to go to Amos.
Why? I mean, you just didn't make a check. You can make a check.
I can make a check for what though?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I have.
Camp is supposed to be used to prepare you for the adventuring phase, not just recover from conditions.
Yeah, if you tell me there might be a quiver laying around, I'm gonna go look for one.
That would be scavenge.
That would be scavenge.
That's the only thing I need that more than a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could. Yeah, I'll go scavenge.
Sure.
I'll scavenge. I'm gonna go out on my own. I
Um,
don't need nobody else. Give me your torch, Sadak.
I think it's actually unlit. I think it was.
yeah, this area.
I light my own torch.
This area is already lit, Bob.
It's dimly lit though. Would I be able to still scavenge okay, or is it going to give me a penalty?
It'll give you a penalty.
No, then I light my torch. God, these torches are so valuable. I'm gonna take the penalty. I'm just gonna go looking.
Okay, here's a candle.
Oh yeah, let me get that candle.
Oh, the candle's good. All right, the candle's good.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
all
take
right.
one candle.
Put the candle back.
Oh, I can't take it. Light one candle.
There you go. All right. Candle's up. All right, Bob,
Okay,
you're
I
gonna
don't need my bow because I'll put my bow in my backpack because I don't actually need it.
right.
Leave it here at camp.
All right, Bob. So you are going to go ahead and look around for some sort of arrows or some sort of thing that you could find.
Yeah, right now I only have basically this knife, and I feel a little unprepared. Obviously, I would love.
Yep.
High end would be quiver and bows.
Yep.
Obviously, I'll take about anything at this point that will help protect me.
All right. So I won't call this as a weapon. So it's a tool or gear. So it's 2. You're in a dungeon. 3, and it's a common item. So the ob is 3, Bob.
Ob is 3.
Yep.
Okay. Now I would like to use my trait loner here.
Yes.
Because I'm just going off on my own.
Yeah,
I don't
of
need
course.
anybody else's help to do this.
Perfect.
I can find my own dang arrows.
Great. Setting up for a wonderful twist. Thank you.
Yes, I can do this.
It is an elven tomb. Does it?
Yeah.
That'd be my nature if it was.
Well, to be
going
fair,
stuff,
I'm assuming
but-
Bob is undoing the door and going out and looking around.
Oh,
Make
wait a
sure you
minute.
think about what you do before you do it.
Because there's nothing to be found in here. I mean, this is just this chamber.
That's what I'm doing.
All right.
I already
I'm
found
just shaking
traps.
my
I
head.
know that I'm not going to fall into those things.
Correct.
Unless
Clearly.
there's another
Not
trap.
those traps.
Yes.
No,
All right,
yes,
so it
not
should
the-
be 3-3. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Um,
Exhausted.
No, exhausted shouldn't affect anything.
Oh no, it's because I'm because I have like nothing in scavenger. It's
Right. So it's beginner's luck.
beginner's luck.
So now you have an interesting choice to make here, Bob. Instead of using beginner's luck, you could choose to use your nature.
Yeah.
This would be going against your nature. So it's not within your nature. It's outside of your nature.
Okay.
And so change the nature within to nature without or outside or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in mind, this will not affect your scavenger.
Yes,
pass
correct.
or
This
fail.
goes
This will
against my
affect this will
natures,
go against your nature. Should you fail this check, your nature will become taxed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So your nature's 5, right?
Yes.
And you are
I'm gonna uncheck this. Sorry.
yeah.
I don't know why. That's what I was asking. Why it's going down, but I assumed it was because I'm exhausted. But
No, exhausted doesn't affect anything. I guess. I thought it would override the nature. Huh. Interesting. I guess we just have to do it as a nature roll, Bob.
oh, click on nature.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Well then, yeah. Well then, I don't know if I want to use my loner.
So then that's 6 dice versus ob 3.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with it.
All right.
I'm doing this on my own. All right, here we go.
right.
Woo! Crushed it.
All right. So Bob, you go out into the dungeon and the group is back in thing and you're got your thing looking around. And then you spy an arrow. And then another arrow.
Ooh.
And then it's your quiver that the Ratling
Yes.
said, this thing's fucking worthless, and they threw it away.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh,
they said,
I thought you're.
they said, this isn't gold. You're like, wait, is this my quiver? And you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, yes, it is. It is. It's totally yours. It's totally your quiver. All right, Bob.
Back on tighter.
Bob, the quiver is back.
Woohoo!
Nice job.
Totally worth it.
So there you go.
You
You
found
guys
your
wouldn't
own
believe
stuff.
what I found.
You got a bunch of sixes, too.
I think you had it on the belt, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, mine was in a weird spot, but yeah.
Well, it just takes up 2 slots on the belt. That's all.
Feels good to be whole again.
And then Bob, there's your quiver slots back.
Yay. I didn't remember what I had in them.
You had arrows.
Oh, that's why. Well,
Oh, stupid thing.
all right. Now I assume I can walk back and this candle probably goes out.
Candle actually lasts for 4 turns, so you're probably pretty good there.
All right. Well, then we'll just hang out with the candle for everybody. Go look at Jim Scott's map for fun.
So I got one more check I can do something with, right?
All right, Bob, you're back. You're back with arrows. You got arrows in your quiver. You got quiver on your belt, and into your quiver. All right. Yep, you're good. All right, so that's another check gone. Now, Bob, that was a passed test on your nature.
Wow. I'm never going to get this.
No, yeah. Well, you keep passing. You're gonna go on the boat.
I mean, if it's that time, it's that time.
All right, so we have what? 2 checks left in the party.
Yep.
All right.
Amos will begin using the light of the candle to pull out a little packet of papers to find an appropriate prayer to unburden himself of the glories of the fire gods that he has been drawing into himself to cleanse himself of his Erder burden.
Got it.
Erder burden.
Erder burden.
Erder burden. Erder burden.
I think it's actually pronounced
So-
I think it's pronounced like weird, but like weird or something like that. Some weird
Weird.
Scandinavian term.
So
All right.
Amos is starting to pray again. I
Yeah.
just take a few steps back in case his head explodes.
All right, Amos.
So this is a theologian test,
Theologian test with a ob equal to your current burden, right?
which is 1.
All right.
I am going to spend a persona for the extra die.
Okay.
Because
You sure you don't want to channel your nature?
what is
Channeling your nature would add whatever your nature dice is to it. But your nature would become taxed if you pass by 1 and if you fail by the number that you failed by.
an attacks nature means
It means that your nature is temporarily lowered to the value of before the slash. So I don't know.
but
What
it's
I don't know what your
more
current-
dice.
What's less dice?
Wait,
In the
but
moving forward, it would be
I'm
less.
confused.
You would.
I'd have to pull up your character sheet because I don't know anything about your character. All right, Amos, you have. I'm just plopping everything. So your nature is 5.
Right.
Of 5. So if you use a persona point, you could channel your nature, and you could add 5 dice to this roll. However, when you channel your nature outside of your nature traits, which is boasting, demanding, and running, if you pass, it goes down by 1, so it would go to 4 to 5. If you fail, it goes down. Like if you failed by 4, it would go down by 4. But it's only the first number, so your nature would temporarily basically be 1 of 5. And that's
all right,
called.
I think I'm going to go for just the 1 die on this one
Okay.
because I only need 1 success.
Yeah, famous last words. All right. All right, so you got 3 dice, and
Yeah,
all right, no trait. You're not touched by the gods or something. Saving that. You saving that one?
No, we can use. We'll go for it. Touched by the gods.
Okay. Just make sure you mark it right there on the sheet so that it's used up. All right, you got 4 dice. You need 1 success. This shouldn't be an issue.
It almost was an issue. And I was going to suggest using your nature against yourself. This is a check.
Now you guys know why you all have conditions all the time. Well,
Yes.
you can't earn checks in camp, Jim Scott.
Okay.
All right. Well, Dennis, Amos is able to guide his mind to a place of safety and prayer. And even though you are a theurge, you are able to wean yourself of the immortal burden that has been placed on you by stealing and tapping into the power of the gods. And your burden is reduced to 0. And for the first time, you stop bleeding from the eyes.
No, I stopped bleeding from the eyes after I gave my report because I was at my burden.
Got it.
Over.
Got it.
But if I had failed this roll, I still could have lowered my Erder at the GM's choice, but I would have gotten a condition.
Condition, right. Yep.
Or he could have left my Erder there and given us a twist.
Twist, correct. All right. Well, Amos is now clear of his burden. And that means that we have 1 check left belonging to Erber the dwarf.
You're on mute, Matt.
Sorry about that. I was
That's all right.
thinking of maybe trying to read this elven writing with like a lore master check using my nature.
Yeah, that totally works.
But I also have elven wise, so I don't know which would work better.
Well, Elven Wise would let you aid somebody when they made a check. If you have Elven Wise, though, if you make the check, then you could potentially spend a Persona point or a Fate point to re-roll failures in the event that you fail.
I'll do that. I'll walk up and I'll start looking at this scripture that our elf, while he goes out, looks for his arrows because I don't want to embarrass him.
I will totally jump in to help you there.
Yeah, you can totally. Yep, that seems totally reasonable. All right, yes, indeed. This is a lore master check. Now, Erber, you have 2 choices. You can either make a lore master check with beginner's luck, or you can just use your nature.
Nature is 4, wisdom 3, so I'll probably use nature.
Now, okay, I was to say, if I made the lore master check, would he even be able to help?
Nope.
Okay, so it's better this way because at least we get the check made.
Well, he's also doing it in camp where it's free, right? As opposed to costing a turn on the grind.
Yeah.
If I use my nature, it's a better chance, but I won't boost my lore master at all.
That is correct. And potentially your nature could be harmed if you fail this check.
Something, in for a penny, in for a pound, I'll do lore master.
Okay, so you're actually going to make a beginner's luck lore master check.
Yep.
Now, what's the synergy? Can I do that? Because I wouldn't mind getting a success or a failure with him.
Well, in that case, when you help him, GM Scott, and you'll describe how you help him, you'll also tell us that you're spending a fate point for synergy, and then whatever result he gets, you get to mark that on that skill.
Okay. But I still give him an extra die or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All righty. And I lied. This is not lore master. Scholar. Sorry, Erber. Scholar. Scholars for reading and writing.
Either way.
Yeah.
And I can still help because I have lore master and scholar.
All right. Yep. It is Ob 2.
I'm gonna need that help because I don't have as much.
Well, the good news is everybody can help you because you're using beginner's luck. So everybody can help you with because you're using will essentially.
So how much help do I get?
Well,
you specifically said that you did this while I was walking
yeah,
around.
so Chronos, that is true. The fiction does not allow you to do that. That is true.
So 3.
GM Scott is helping you. I don't know if Boothby and Ryan want to help you.
I am cleansing myself of Erder.
No, you could. No, it's not all simultaneously. But Bob was very specific about using his loner trait, so we'll say that. So there you go. Now, of course, remember, because this is beginner's luck, the help dice are halved. So Unfortunately, you're in a situation where you have 2 dice versus Ob 2 laughing out loud. So,
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's go.
let's go.
Hey,
Hey!
no.
Love it. Love it.
All right. How many people does it take? And like, by the way, GM's like Tain is just sitting there like biting his lip, like, ooh, man. I know there was a reason. I know there was a reason I was untrusting.
And I'm going like, how is the elf not able to read his own people's writing? I mean, come on, it's not that hard. This is like second grade level.
It's an ancient text. All right. So yeah. So Erber, correct. You mark a beginner's luck advancement on Scholar, so you're that much closer to getting it. GM Scott, spend a fate point, which is you decided to do, and then make a mark a pass
Success in Scholar.
on Scholar. So you're good there. And then you guys helped, and that was all that you guys get out of it. Nothing. All right. You spend a few moments tracing the ancient runes, remembering the folly of elves' wise in their ancient tongue. You're able to put it together. The runes, however, are somewhat ancient and old, and Tain is able to help with their assessment. Sadok and Amos mostly do the grunt work of cleaning out the inscriptions, which have become somewhat caked with dirt and mold and debris over the many eons and ancient passing of time. When all is said and done, the runes are translated. It is an ancient dialect of Elvish that has a twinge of arcane energy to them, like meaning it's not magical, but it's like used by mages. And it says, "Let the respectful enter here." And that's it.
Above the doorway
that is yes
to the east.
That is above the doorway, which is that leading further into the vault. Yes, which leads into the dark corridor. And with that, you guys are out of camp checks, so it is time to grind. All right, we are back into adventuring phase. So right now we have, what do we have for light? Is it just a
candle.
Just a candle? Is that it?
Are we intending to go deeper now?
Well, I gotta make that discussion.
Well, we got to make that money.
Yeah, I think
we should be respectful for what if we go further.
Yeah, I can't tell if that means like
The
Aladdin, don't take the ruby type thing.
Or the penitent man drops to his knees.
Or don't talk shit to each
Cardinalist,
other.
how does one be respectful in elf culture?
I'd remember this if I wanted to spend some time. Unfortunately, I more or less just want to either get treasure or get back.
I'm happy to take take a torch and hold it for us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if we intend on delving further, Amos, now that he is not shaking and unburdened by the Urder,
Oh my gosh, are you
now
gonna do
unleash
Yes.
the amulet of the Eye of the Burning Lord.
Are you actually casting a spell?
Yes, I shall cast Supplication to the Burning Lord to provide light.
Oh, I love this spell.
Hell yeah.
This is the best spell.
It's so good.
Supplication to the Burning Lord. All right, the invocation time. You have the relic, so the invocation time is free. This does not take a turn.
Back up to 2 burden.
Yep, and it is a Ob 3 ritualist check.
Yes.
It's far better
Now
than the 3
I will
spells I got.
spend a persona point to channel my nature,
There you go.
demanding that the Burning Lord answer my call. For the gods have not shown their light upon this expedition yet.
Yeah, you tell them to be respectful.
Yeah.
I appreciate the role play, but it is still outside of your nature to use demanding for. Although you know what, Boothby, it's supplication. Yeah, I'm gonna allow you to demand. You're pissed off. I'm for it. In this instance, you're salty enough that it's fine. Yeah, it's a supplication. It literally is a supplication. You are making a request. All right. So what you're going to do then, Boothby, is you're going to go to your roll screen, and you're going to. I'm opening up your character sheet. So you're going to go ahead and make a ritualist check, and then you're going to channel nature. You got it. It's within your nature, correct? So you're going to be rolling 8 dice. Now, the downside is that when you channel nature, even when it's inside of your nature, this is still going to, if you succeed, it is going to still tax your nature by 1.
That's all right. We are taxing my nature, for I am going down in this deeper hole.
Actually, let me double check that. Maybe I was lying. Oh no! If it's within your nature, there is no further cost or penalty, pass or fail. So in this instance, there's no penalty because you are quite literally demanding that the gods answer your. That's not a prayer; it's a demand. All right, bring it, buddy.
Whew. Saw
All
some
right.
of them low rolls and scared me.
All right, make a pass test there. All right, Dennis, what happens then as a result of your demanding prayer to the gods of the Burning Lord?
The Burning Lord answers my call, and my hand is wreathed in torchlight, which I spread across my shield as it glows with the light of like a couple torches.
I believe this is as a lantern.
Bright light for 3, dim light for 3.
Yeah, so it's like a lantern.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, that's it's no joke. Bring to front.
And now that we have light, my health is taxed by the channeling of the of the holy fire of the Burning Lord, and I have to make a health test.
Now, this doesn't take an additional turn, though, right?
This is not the this is all part of the deal.
Okay. Yep.
So there's a health test against Ob
2
which is my burden.
Yep.
Uh,
My guess is no one can really help with this.
now I will use my touch by the gods
All right.
as a 4. No, I did it.
No, you used it.
I did. Okay. I did use it already.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 2 dice. Ob 2.
Your health has to be higher than 2. Well, you succeeded. Oh, health 4. Yeah, I got it. All right.
Does it have to be?
All right.
Mine was almost 2.
All right. So the divine energies channel through Imos. He begins to once again bleed from the nostrils and ears. He goes full like 11 on you guys. Because he's literally stealing the energy from the guy. He's not a cleric. He's not a priest. He's a theurge. He has the ability to just directly channel from the gods, kind of whether they have a say in it or not. He forces the power of the flaming god into his shield. However, it leaves him a little bit racked. However, normally this could debilitate him or even kill him, but his body weathers the storm of divine energy and he's fine. So there you go. Another past health.
It wouldn't have killed. I've already maxed out on past health.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't have killed me.
Right. No. Yeah.
It would have given me 4 conditions possible.
Correct. Correct. Right. In this situation, you're fine. All right. Well, now you have blazing shield of Imos. So everybody's in bright light because you also have the candle still. So yeah.
Where do we have Tain on our tracker?
Yeah. Oh.
We have 5 party members actually.
I forgot about Tain.
So he's in dim light.
He is. Someone's in dim light, but yeah.
Well, there's a candle there too, so just give that person in dim light the candle.
Well, no, because
I got the candle.
Boothby's creates 3 squares of bright light, and then the candle creates 1 square of bright light. But you guys are fine. Otherwise, I mean, for the most part, it doesn't really matter if you guys are.
Well, if someone has an instinct to go ahead and check ahead of the party, then they should probably have that candle.
Well, that's what I have.
But
Yeah,
you're exhausted.
That's just to say that we would actually. Well, that's my instinct doesn't trigger, but that's to say
so
that we
mine.
even want to go through this dark passageway.
I will say
Well, we have the
respected.
light. I think we should.
that is a
Let's
lot of
go.
bullshit for a light spell.
We got to go. Our mage. Which one are you? Thaumaturge or mage?
Neither.
Just consider me a
What?
scholar.
Thaumaturge?
Too?
Just consider me someone that carries a book around. I really don't have any useful spells.
Map maker.
The map maker. That's what you are. Our magic caster has almost killed himself again, giving us light. We need to go down this hallway and find treasure. That's the whole point of being here. What's the point of
Respectfully.
doing that if we're going to go back?
All right. Now I can do this without having my instinct trigger, right? I can just do it. Just scout.
You could scout normally, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you? It depends what you're trying to do, but
Well, I think we're trying to go through this dark, respectful opening.
well, okay, that doesn't require a scout roll.
No, but I want to look ahead. That's what I used to do. Obviously, when I had my instinct, I would
Right.
always scout.
You scout,
ahead.
no, but you always scout when you enter into a new area. So
Correct.
yeah,
That's
so
what I'm kind of
right. So if you say I'm entering the doorway, then that would trigger your instinct.
But in this case, it doesn't because I'm exhausted.
Correct. Well, no, it does. It just takes a turn.
Okay. I would like to go through this opening into this new area.
Let's think about this for a second.
Yeah. Respectful.
Yeah. I saw a movie once.
What's the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
I gotta go to the
Yeah,
bathroom. You guys keep discussing. Also, remember
Look at
too,
Drawing over and over again.
Laughing
Yeah.
Out Loud also has an instinct here too as well.
Yeah, my instinct is search for traps.
But remember,
Okay.
it's
you
up.
should go.
But I should also point out, it's up to you to trigger your instinct. If the event happens and you forgot your instinct, the time has passed. So, like, if you guys get into the room and I don't know, let's say a big log trap or something smashing everybody, and you're like, "Wait a second, I had an instinct." If you forget your instinct, you forgot your instinct. Just FYI. That's true for that's true for everybody, by the way.
So right, but it would also cost it would cost us a turn on the grind
Because we're both exhausted. Yeah.
Yep.
But I
So
think
wait a minute. How long does his light spell last?
Until we camp.
Okay, so we don't have
It's
to
so
worry
good.
about getting rid of the torches and stuff then.
correct.
So we're good with that. The only grind issue we would have is probably an encounter or getting
Well,
hungry.
just getting loaded up on conditions. So
Yeah.
if we can just maximize that, like going too heavy and then sort of get the heck out, I think we'd be okay.
The last time we played around with doors, I was sickened
Well,
by the
Correct.
poison.
So maybe we do have
doing
Matt
both.
take a look at this door.
Check for traps. It's his instinct. It's got to cost a turn, but
It's going to
Yeah.
cost a turn, but let's take a look at it.
yeah.
And then, and if he says it's good, I can go into the room, another turn, but at least I can scout the area.
And I would still recommend, even before you check for traps, that, again, my sorcerer buddy, or my sorcerer, what am I? I don't even remember my class.
The map
Magician,
maker.
you're a mage.
The map maker.
Yes, you're map maker. Tain the map maker.
But more importantly, I am also a lore master. And I remember reading lore about a tomb explorer and his father. And they had a rune that said, "Only the penitent man shall pass." And this seems very familiar to me.
You keep trying to make veiled allusions to Indiana Jones, and Bob clearly doesn't understand it because Bob doesn't understand anything that's
Well, and
involving a
that's-
metaphor.
And that's why I'm continuing.
The dwarf raises his
Turns
hand.
out,
The dwarf
only the
raises his hand and
penitent
goes,
man, only the
"What does
penitent man shall
penitent mean?"
pass to be respectful, or penitent means asking for forgiveness. But in
Good
this
word.
case, it seems similar to me. So the idea was the penitent man would fall to his knees, and the blade trap went over his head. So perhaps, just saying, stay low.
Well, let's let Herber take a look first.
Okay.
He's gonna look for traps. He's gonna trigger his instinct and turn.
And Herber's kind of low anyway, so that might help.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
All right, Herber. So as a reminder, when you use your instinct, when you're exhausted, the ob is 1 higher.
Yep.
The advantage is that number one, it's still, even though it takes a turn, it's still considered to be happening like quickly. So it might prevent future problems or could like get you ahead of something. Secondly, if it does work out to your advantage, you earn a fate point at the end of the session. All right. So Herber, as you are approaching the darkened passageway, the darkened doorway, your instinct to search doorways for traps triggers, and you can go ahead and make a scout check.
Nope.
Scout.
Oh, what's the ob?
That's a great question. Now, if there was no trap, I wouldn't have called for anything.
Can I get help on this too, or no?
Because it's an instinct, only if somebody has a similar instinct or if they are using a nature descriptor that would help them.
You could also use wises, right?
Yes.
Without spending anything?
Without spending anything.
Because I have the folly of the dwarf wise, which I feel like this is for sure.
I'm short. I got to look up higher.
No, because the
know I'm
folly of the
short, I know.
dwarves is not going to help you with the elven rune.
Now,
It's a doorway.
I have a argument to make that because there's this script written here, and it's not written like it's a riddle.
Yes. I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Totally. I
so the nature of this trap could be a bit of a riddle.
Absolutely, Ryan. 100%, Ryan.
All right.
By the way, 100%, Ryan. You could totally have used your nature to try to decipher this. That's totally within your nature of riddling.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So Ryan, you're helping.
Yeah.
Anybody else helping?
The only things I could possibly help with is maybe trying to use my wizard sight to see if there's any more arcaneness in there.
Right, but remember that this is an instinct, so it has to be either a.
That's a trait.
Yeah, trait's not going to help.
Nature.
Okay, then
or
I have
wises.
puzzle wise as my other option.
You have puzzle wise.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that plays.
I will attempt to decide solve this puzzle too.
All right.
As you ramble on about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
All right, Herber.
Indiana.
Yes, the ob is 3.
I only have a 1 because I'm 6, so I automatically get a -1.
Yeah.
On my.
Yeah.
But with the 2 help, that's 3 versus 3.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
Any sixes? Any sixes?
No.
Any
Can I
sixes?
use something to re-roll?
No. Well, it depends. What are your wises?
Elven wise.
Oh, yes. So you have, here's what, Elven wise is totally, this is an elven trap and an elven dungeon. So you have 2 choices. You could spend a fate point and re-roll 1 die, or, which is probably what you want to do, or you could spend a persona point and re-roll all your failed dice. Obviously, you only have 1 die that has failed, so I would spend a fate point if you got it.
How do I do that with this?
And then check the fate box in your wises for that wise.
Is there a way to
yes, correct.
re-roll it by 1?
There is. It's all part of the roll screen. So what you do here, because now you're in the final thing. So what this is after rolling. So this is called Deeper Understanding. So you're going to click Deeper Understanding, and you're going to tag the wise that you're using, which in your case is Elven wise, and then you're going to reduce your fate by 1, and increase your total spent fate by 1. So you're going to go from 2-2 to 1-3.
I think I did that right. Shit.
And you did not re-succeed. So, times are tough. Don't forget to subtract a fate and add a fate. You can also do that on that roll menu right there, by the way, too.
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, so you go, oh, wait, of course. I know this. And then, remember, too, if you help, you're also bound by the results of this. So you guys are waiting for a moment, and then a massive scythe blade shoots out of the archway at just about waist level. And at the last second, you're like, get down! And you dive to the ground, and the trap spins over your head. So you guys succeeded. However, instead of being killed, instead the scything blade slashes over your head, and you guys are just made afraid instead.
Now, Jim Scott used a wise, so
he's insulated because he was back going, well, over there. But Ryan helped. So
remember, stay low.
Yes. So laughing out loud, you become afraid, and Ryan, you have to become something less. So you become hungry and thirsty.
I worked myself up an appetite.
Would you like some of my wine?
As it just went over your head, you didn't even have a duck because you're a halfling.
Dungeon delving is you know what? Yeah, it cuts to Ryan. He's just eating while
he wasn't even looking in the same direction.
He was like, "Oh, I completely missed that." All right, and that's a turn.
Okay.
So did the trap spring and reset, or is it?
The trap sprung and reset, but you kind of know where it is now and what it does, so it's not really much of a concern as much.
All right, well, I'll avoid it as I walk into this new area and take a look around.
All right.
Or I guess maybe duck
Well,
Yeah.
yes, you do need to.
It's
So
part
I
of
would actually,
avoiding it.
so the scythe blade comes out,
Yeah.
and normally it would just be sitting there spinning, but then the blue mist starts to penetrate it, and it starts to retract back into the hallway.
Can we change the writing to say, "Stand tall, ye who enter here"?
Proud of thyself.
Couple changes to the notes.
A labor check.
Some whiteout.
Do that. I will do that.
You can just totally make that labor check there, maybe. All right,
I will,
so
I will be the like 1.
all right, so you guys begin heading into a new area.
Woo.
All right.
Did you want to drink my wine before we left?
Yeah. So how can I? That's not require anything, right? I can just
Yeah,
use
if you have food or water, you can drink it, and you clearly had time before that, so you can just
all
drink
right.
that.
Then yeah, if you're willing, I'll take it.
Yep, I will delete one of my wine.
All right, sweet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a look around this room.
All right. Well, you enter into the room, Bob. What is your instinct?
Anytime we get into a new area, I need to look around.
Okay.
Take a look. Always look ahead when exploring a new area. Is specifically what it is.
Right. And you're exhausted.
I am exhausted.
All right. So Bob,
will count
this
as
is
a
going to
turn.
count as a turn,
Yes.
and go ahead and make a scout roll.
Yep. And what is it against?
The ob is going to be 1.
Okay. All right. Well, I've done worse. Oh yeah, crushed it.
I'm sorry. The ob actually was 2 because you're
still
exhausted. Because it's actually 1 higher. All right. You enter into a reliquary, an ancient chamber, circular and domed, held up by ancient elven pillars. The stone of this chamber appears to be worn, but the faint suggestions of ancient runes and carved figures is visible. In the center of the chamber is a glowing blue beam of light, which stretches from the floor to the ceiling. Hovering
Oh,
in
space
the
laser.
blue beam, a blade,
Oh, if this is that dagger that you just changed your freaking goal
seemingly made out of
Yeah.
bone.
from. Of course it is. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
But I'm also exploring the dragon vault.
That's awesome.
I felt so bad
you
when
did
you're
that
like,
on
I don't think we're ever gonna find this dragon bone blade.
It's like literally in the next room
It's
laughing at us.
literally in the next room. Anyways,
Son of a bitch.
this room is still dimly illuminated because of the powerful glowing blue light that is filling from this chamber. However, as you enter into the chamber, Bob, you making a scout roll, notice several other things that become apparent before the spectral figure appears.
Ay, caramba.
So the first thing that you notice, Bob,
Oh no.
before the spectral figure appears, is that this room, scattered around the periphery and edges, has urns, ancient clay urns, filled with treasure.
Oh,
Gore.
this is a good room.
Additionally, you can see that there are there's also some miscellaneous items stashed on like shelves and little like reliquaries and little small almost like a workshop around the edge of this place. But you can also see in 4 alcoves, kind of equally distant around the circular chamber, you see the form or the forms of 4 skeletal tomb guardians
Oh, fuck these things.
surrounding the room. They are almost identical to what you ran from
GM
before.
Scott's worst enemy.
However,
All of our worst enemies.
you notice that these 4, unlike last time, only one of them was like this. All 4 of these wear ceremonial elven armor. They all wearing chainmail, and they all have a jeweled torque around their former neck. But
What's
they
the torque?
torque is a metal necklace that's like a ring.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not like loose. It's
Tight
like
necklace.
it's like a almost like a choker. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's solid.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
a solid ring around their neck. But
Okay.
the skeletons do not appear to be moving and do not seem to be awoken or energized, but you see them right in the depths of the shadow, sort of
Mhm.
surrounding the chamber. And as you enter in, a spectral and spiritual force begins to coalesce just to the side of the glowing blue beam in which the dragonbone blade hovers and floats mysteriously. His body is ephemeral and crackles with a blue light. Arcane runes circle around his floating spectral form, and a very vague elvish features can be made out underneath his dark blue cowl. A voice echoes out, seemingly coming from everywhere in the chamber at once. And if I had some sort of cool vocal effect, it'd sound like that weird echoing reverse sound that echoes into itself. Unworthy, unworthy! Ye who enter this sacred place are not worthy to wield the dragon bone dagger. Go forth from this place, lest your lives be forfeit.
How may we prove our worth?
None shall pass. No.
You
Wait,
say
you laughed
we're
at that,
unworthy,
Bob.
but how? How do you identify that we are worthy?
Yep.
You have not the nobility or the grace to treat with one such as me. I was God's charge long ago to keep this blade safe from those who would misuse its power.
Misuse? I won't misuse the power. We are here, right? Isn't that worthy enough? We fought these thieving ratlings out of this
Those were
place,
my
and we
pets.
saved the body of this boy that others have robbed at the bottom of your traps.
It sounds like you're trying to convince this guy.
I would like to use negotiation as my nature.
Well, actually, there's a convinced conflict that's going to happen.
Oh,
All right, so it is social combat time. All righty. So we are going to go ahead and run a... Do I have my GM screen somewhere? Loading, please wait. I don't even know where my stuff is. All right, I guess I'll just have to look it up in the book. All right. So, yep, I'm declaring a conflict engage. I will select the conflict type. I believe this is called convince. And then...
Blackmail, deception, evidence, finery.
Yes. Now, this might be one of those weird ones where the rules for this are in both books, which is unfortunate. Oh, maybe not. I wish I had my GM screen. I just don't know what I did with it in all the intervening month since we played. I really do not know where that thing is. All right. Guess I gotta look through the fucking book.
It's a persuader.
What about manipulator?
It says persuader.
Damn it.
And
I'm afraid, so I can't
Where-
use beginner's luck.
where are you finding this
Oh, I have my
GM screen?
yeah.
Fuck. They don't.
I believe it's in the scholars book. Though.
They don't. So again,
Yeah.
if you're watching this at home, and you're a fan of indie RPGs, as we all are,
On
I'm
page
just,
6.
I'm just going to make a request to the powers that be, to all the people out there who are making indie RPGs. Fucking organize your books better, okay? I'm talking to John Harper. I'm talking to Luke Crane. I'm talking to everybody, okay? I'm not just singling out one person. You all suck at laying out your books and putting information where it makes sense and where it's needed, and you should do better. And
We were just talking about that yesterday, weren't we, Dennis?
On for disposition on page 63, there's a convince. It's the skills and abilities for disposition.
Is it
63.
Is it in Scholar's Guide?
Scholars, yeah.
Right, because the rules to play the game are not in the Dungeoneer book. All right, thank you. All right.
I was never happy with the
Conflicts.
names of those books either.
No, they're not great. I mean, Dungeoneer Guide makes a certain amount of sense, but all right. So we have to pick a conflict captain. The conflict captain will roll for the group's disposition and get +1 die for each other character helping.
What is the disposition skill?
This is a convince conflict, which means that the roll for disposition is persuader added to will.
I have a 2 persuader and a 4 will.
Sounds like it's you
I have the same.
or you.
I have beginner's luck at Persuader.
Yeah. I can merry-make. I can riddle.
I got
I
negotiate.
think you have a.
Now, remember, if you do not have the persuader skill,
Yeah.
then you can use your nature. Remember, you can only use your nature if you don't have the skill.
Oh, I don't. Which would be I have a 4 and I have.
Grant, I don't know that
Or-
I don't know that merrymaking makes a whole lot of sense here.
Yeah, and I don't think riddling either. They're
Yeah.
not trying to.
So Mirror Booth.
Well, I mean, it
Yeah.
would if this was a riddle conflict, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. Which is its own thing.
Which is its own thing. Yes.
Wait, so you said if you don't have it, you can use your nature, but can't you also use
no.
beginner's luck?
Yes, correct. But it's just
Okay.
usually your nature is going to be
Capped.
higher than your other things. So, all right. So, who is going to be your conflict captain?
Booth.
All right, I'll do it.
All right, Boothby.
It's a
I need-
dirty job.
I need you to roll persuader. Actually, let me check. Oh, right. Okay. So, what is your precedence, Boothby?
Hold, please.
I think it's 0.
Probably 0, maybe.
Call
one.
is very important to us.
What is precedence is 0.
Okay. So precedence works like might. The way that might works in other
Awesome.
conflicts.
We're trying to convince them that we're worthy and we're like just a bunch of
You
punks
are-
fresh off the
yeah,
farm.
Yeah, 0
Literally.
is soldiers, adventurers, prostitutes, and criminals. So that's
Awesome.
Yeah. The guys who shovel shit at the cow farm look down at us.
Hey, I am one of those guys.
so you may convince
were.
you may convince people whose precedence is equal to or less than yours. So you are essentially engaging in a conflict that you cannot actually engage in, which is fine. It just means that you won't be able to succeed even if you succeed. But that's okay. That's okay.
At least we'll figure out what we need to do to prove that we're worthy.
Correct. That's exactly right, GM Scott.
Make better characters.
Dungeon,
Well, no.
Dungeon better.
So this is a spoiler alert.
I got a feeling we're gonna have to take the necklaces off. the
Spoiler alert.
skeleton.
There were some other areas of the dungeon you were supposed to go to first before you went in here. This is kind of like the near the end like of the
Well,
dungeon.
we didn't get the note off of the body that
Yeah.
told us who his boss was.
Correct, right.
yeah.
There may have been a harp involved that you guys never found. So anyways, so this is equivalent to like if you guys were trying to kill a dragon. A dragon's might is so high that even you're not allowed to try to kill it unless you have a high enough might. And if you try to kill it, it's like even if you win, you don't actually kill it. So here's the deal: his precedence is high enough, and yours is so low. He just basically is like you're not going to be able to convince him to do what you want. That doesn't mean that you won't get some sort of victory. It just means that you're the core assumption of he is convinced cannot happen as a result of that. But you get to roll your persuader and add it to your will. So this is a disposition roll, so you can click on persuader and add it to that.
Do I have any help?
Yeah, anybody can help you with persuader or any of the things that can help persuader, which is
Orator, manipulator, perhaps.
yeah,
Those sound
a
good.
nature could help here, obviously too. If someone has a nature that works.
But then no one
How
that's
about boasting?
Yeah, I could go with that. If you again, you remember, in order to help, you have to describe. So you always have to describe to live. And if you make a good description,
we have already done these deeds.
Yes.
right.
I
I've
have a,
cast light twice.
I will also go in and tell, as Amos is talking to him and convincing him, I will also tell him about how not all of us are humans and dwarves. Some of us are great elves as well.
And a halfling.
Well,
We are obviously a party that has figured out a way to work together, and
Mhm.
and we got this far. right? We must be worthy in some way.
We have
Yeah, and
passed
just
the challenge of your door.
yep. We even we were even so skilled that we decided to go right to the bottom of the well instead of taking the halfway point.
I'm afraid it says no help or beginner's luck. Does that mean I can't help or cannot get help?
It's been a minute since
No helping. Yeah.
since I've played. I think it means that you cannot help.
Okay.
But
All right,
I will
so-
double check because it's been a minute since I played. You cannot offer help and you cannot use beginner's luck. But you can use
Okay, so
nature if you wanted to test in place of an unlearned skill. So
Could I use my nature to help them or no?
what's your nature?
A negotiation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, perfect.
I was like, oh, come on, man. I mean,
You're like, let's break a deal. All right. I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it. You're not
come
just gonna
on, I
give it
mean-
to us, but all right, fine.
I mean-
We're not worthy. What's the price? Everything has a price.
we may not be what you call worthy.
Yeah,
Worthy?
right.
But I mean, worthy's changed in the past like 10,000 years. I mean, everybody gets a trophy nowadays. So I mean, that's fine.
Standards are
trophy
so
right
much
there.
lower. We're
Yeah.
much more worthy than we used
So
to.
am
be.
I not getting help from someone?
You are getting help from me.
Bob, how?
Can I?
Yeah, I think Bob's
I'm
giving you help.
persuading as well.
Yeah, so Bob's giving you help. Laughing Out Law is giving you help. I don't know about GM Scott and Ryan.
Oh, yeah, I'm absolutely boasting my ass off here.
GM Scott is using his boasting nature. And speaking of your guys' great accomplishments, Ryan, what about you?
I'd like to make a argument for riddling if I go the route of Bilbo and give us titles like
Oh, okay.
Poison Eater.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, so totally, I love
Drummer.
it. Yeah. Totally. There's precedent in the Bilbo. I am the barrel rider. I am the sick taster.
All right. And no one's hungry, Dorsey, but we do have exhausted.
Yeah. So you
I
right,
have inhaled the mist of the dragon twice, and I am
Right.
still here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Boothby. So you're gonna check that one box for you do have someone who is exhausted.
And I got elf wise. I don't know if that helps at all either.
It would. You could also help with that, but it does the same thing, which is +1.
Okay, I didn't know if it was different on the. sheet or
No,
not.
it does not.
All right. 6 dice and will. So here we go.
All right. So you got a total of 1, 2, 3 successes, -1 because of the exhaustion is 2 successes, +4 will. So you have 6 points of disposition to distribute amongst the party.
So everybody gets 1, and then someone gets 2.
So who gets 2?
And does that count as a successful persuader roll or?
It does not because there's no ob.
Okay.
You can't fail it or pass it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But Boopy, you are the conflict captain, so you can decide somebody to get an extra point of disposition.
Me.
All right, 6. All right. So,
'Cause I am the only persuader.
yeah. So, I don't have like icons for this, but so the way convincing works, obviously your weapons are useless. Instead, you have to describe what you're using and how you're doing it, and you have to have it in the fiction. To describe what your action is that can affect your ability to feint, to maneuver, to defend, et cetera, and to that end. In this particular conflict, which is the convince conflict, Persuader is used to attack and defend. Manipulator is used to feint and maneuver. So Persuader is to attack and defend. Manipulator is to feint and maneuver. All right. So let me get the decks up. Conflict deck. So the spirit, kind of grows large in front of you, showing off its power and its magnificence. It's preparing to castigate you for being here and command you to leave. So that's kind of like it choosing its weapon. And now I will choose its actions. Okay. So I've got 3 actions locked in. So remember, you're going to pick 3 party members, and you're going to assign each of them an action card. Now, in this, attacking means reducing your opponent's disposition. Attacking means you are trying to, convince them to do the thing. Manipulator or maneuver means that you're not necessarily trying to prove your point. You're trying to set up another point or attack their point. A feint is like you're trying to catch them out with they said something and you pounce on it, or they you catch them, you trip them up in a confusing web of false logic or whatever. And then defend is falling back and actually saying no, our point is good, like I deserve to be here, my point is valid, and restore your disposition. And obviously if your disposition is reduced to 0, you're not knocked unconscious or anything like that, but maybe you've been stunned into silence temporarily, or you're flabbergasted, or you feel ashamed and you can't participate in the conversation meaningfully, but you're not actually dead or anything. All right, Boothby.
So I have a 2 persuader, 0 manipulator, just to let you know.
And remember,
2 manipulator, 0 persuader.
If you do not have a skill, if it's at 0, then you can potentially use your nature in its place. Now, if it's within your nature, then you get to just roll it for free. If it's outside of your nature, then if you fail, your nature may be taxed. So there is a potential cost.
All right. I think to start, he's trying to drive us off. He's telling us we're not worthy, we need to come back later. I think that sounds like a defensive stance to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's blocking us. I think we counter with a manipulating feint to try and spin this yarn that we're these great heroes that have come down here. So I'm going to throw a manipulating feint first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, you need to assign that to somebody.
Herber, you got manipulate?
Yep, I got a
right.
2. Just remember, I am sick, so I mean, there's only I got negotiation as a nature too.
Does anybody else have manipulator?
I don't, but I have riddling, which would be that I think a good argument for.
Right. We're gonna throw Tain out first because was slacking on the last adventure.
Fair enough.
While you guys decide this, I'm gonna look for my fucking GM screen.
And if I'm right, that could cause damage if he's defending.
Okay.
Then
I just had this fear he's gonna one of them's gonna be like the attack, which is like the get out of here now, speech part.
So what would be the best if he were to attack?
Defend.
If he plays attack, we want to defend or maneuver.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we maneuver. I think
persuasion, though, right?
I'm thinking we do
maneuver's manipulator.
Maneuver's manipulator.
We do feint, maneuver, and then I come in with a persuader attack.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Assuming we think that he's going to defend.
Yeah, I think for Tain, he's got a 2 in manipulator, but he doesn't have any in persuader, so he could use his boasting nature, which is 4. So just to let you know.
You do you.
Well, you've got me assigned for manipulator right now, which is fine.
Yeah, that's you're effectively fainting.
Yep.
So
all right. Looks like we're locked in.
But if he attacks, we eat the damage. Okay.
Well,
right.
We're going with what we got.
Yeah.
All right, fainting, and he is maneuvering.
Oh.
Okay.
So feint versus maneuver is independent.
Okay.
And maneuver versus feint is independent. So that means you guys get to make a free attack. He is trying to, so he's coming up. He's like, I am an ancient spirit of elven wisdom, and you are nothing. You are penniless thieves and vagabonds. You have no right to be here. He's basically citing this litany over why you are not worthy and why you did not deserve anything.
We won't be penniless if you let us loot the room.
And I say, I boast back, penniless we may be, but we are not unworthy. We have avoided the skeletons. We have, defeated the trap. We have, and I start listing off all of the things that we did.
Correct.
So hopefully that'll help.
So I only got one success. So
all right,
which is crazy. But his precedence is higher than you. And just like how when your might is higher than the enemies, you got the bonus successes, his precedence is high enough that he actually gets 2 bonus successes because you guys are 0. And so he actually gets 3 successes. So he's going to impede you on your next action, which gives you guys a -1 die, and he has gained position. His spiritual energy seems to fill the room, and he's gonna
he's right.
And you guys, and he's gonna get +2 dice to his next action. But your feint, in which you guys are trying to basically be like, no, we're actually awesome, is unopposed. It's against Ob-Zero. So
okay,
whatever damage you do here is damage.
So right now I have manipulator roll.
Yep.
Versus, but Ob-Zero.
It's independent.
It is independent. Okay.
Yep, independent Ob-Zero.
So that means, okay. So that's only 2 dice at this point.
We can help.
You can help if you describe how you help. And you could also potentially use a trait here too, Tain, if one applies. You could also potentially, Tain, you don't have any persona points. You can't tap your nature, so never mind.
Yeah.
Well, as he says that we are penniless, I start to jingle that little sack of coins that I got in my backpack. What you got to that, huh?
Oh yes, we are not totally penniless. We literally have 2 pennies.
Oh, we have pennies.
-1 die. -1 die. No, he's like, he goes, wait, that's it? Really? Honestly, that's it. I actually feel bad for you now.
As Tain describes our accomplishment, I afford us a title for each.
Fantastic.
Gap jumper, dragon tamer.
Excellent. So that's plus.
Respectful. The respected.
Yeah, save your good stuff because you may need to use it as
All
your
right.
action. Well, no, because using that can actually be. That's how you get weapons in this conflict. Is role playing. So, like, if you actually role play as that thing, that's the weapon.
Oh, okay.
Now, in some cases, you actually need something like if you have evidence or something like that. But,
did I see shoes help?
that might not be in a convince argument. That might be that might be like in a flee argument.
It's like I'm trying to make this argument and I have my toes out.
Yeah, you're looking at I think you're looking at maybe flee, I think is what it is, but no.
That makes sense.
Anyways,
so would I be able to do my boasting in a thoughtful manner using my thoughtful trait?
Yeah, I don't know. Boasting and thoughtful. If you, GM Scott, if you can role play and describe and or speak in character what a boastful, thoughtful retort sounds like, while using manipulator, because you are trying to be a little bit dishonest here.
Give me a sec.
All right.
Can I be like, can I use it elf wise or no?
Yes, he's an elf.
Yeah.
Or he used to be.
I go, you talk about penniless, but weren't the elves focused more on knowledge than money? That's my people, the dwarfs. We're the ones that like gold. Elves, what I've always remembered hearing is they would rather have a book than a bag of gold.
All right, I like it. Yeah, big time. All right, Tain. So it sounds like you've got 2 dice of help.
I will aid in the boasting.
Okay.
The charge I led through the ratlings that turned the tide in the last battle. Ratlings, certainly not elves that have taken up residence in his domain. We have routed them.
All right.
From his doorstep.
You're boasting. All right. I love it. All right. So Tain, you got 3 dice of help for this test.
Okay.
And you got 1 dice of aid from Laughing Out Law from Erber. So you can add those onto your thing as well. So you're up to 7 dice here.
Okay. And so I do the thing where I put my hands behind my back and I start walking slowly back and forth in front of the party, looking at him the whole time and describing how we are worthy because we are brave. We came to this location. Very few in the town have been able to do this, or been willing to do this. We deciphered the text above. While the stone is like the sky, beware the living stone. We have moved to the bottom of your well. We've encountered other guards in this area. We did not end their existence. So we are peaceful as well as brave. We are adventurous. We kept exploring instead of leaving. We did not disturb the area of the webs.
And he's using everything else thinking.
Yeah. So, and I continue like that, very meticulously and thoughtfully boasting about all the things that we've done, leading up to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was like, you should have attacked. You're giving evidence. You're spelling it out. You're not trying to deceive him. You're being actually very thoughtful about it.
Well, we didn't defeat his guards because we ran from them. So there is some
right. That's why I said we were
misdirection
peaceful,
there.
right? So we were not afraid. We just didn't want to hurt them. So.
All right. Well,
he also said we didn't. He also said that we went to the bottom well, not fell because our rope broke.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So real lies about real facts, not the fanciful prattling. All right, GM Scott. Good job. So what you're going to get here is +1 success.
Okay.
From your deception weapon that you have outlined.
Oh, I like a deception weapon. I want to keep that
deception weapon. And so what you can do there is on your board, you can go down to the second column at the bottom. It says other success, and you can just add 1. So it's not a bonus die. Instead, it's just a bonus success. So it's better. You see it?
Okay, I see it.
All
I
right.
got it.
So this is 7 dice. From the help of the party, the whole party's coming out here. Speaking of their demanding their rights to be heard. Speaking of the way that elves are different from dwarves, and confusing the shit out of him with strange titles that don't make any sense. And GM Scott doing his best, like Perry Mason in court, just like, Your Honor, I will prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Thing.
And just one. Oh yes, I have one more thing.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would be living here?
Yeah, why? You said before that she left before she came home from work. All right. Anyways,
but that doesn't make sense.
Boys downtown are going to be on my case.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see
we're
this.
Good?
Yeah, and you're fainting while he's posturing. So
Alrighty.
This is against Ob-Zero. So if you roll insanely well, this will be the thing.
4.
Right.
Yeah, look at that.
So you got +4 successes +1. So that's 5 points of damage.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Wow.
Well done, guys.
All right. So boom. He, he's coming out and his spirit is swarming, and you guys are coming in with all of this like deceptive kind of talking, and you're like bringing up this point about like, no, you're completely wrong, and let me show you why you're wrong. And all these humans are shouting at him, and the halfling's confusing him, and he's feeling a little bit guilty because of what Erber and Carnalas are saying to him, and the spirit almost seems taken quite aback. Tain, good stuff. Remember, you can either do this now or at the end of the conflict, but it's probably better to do it now because people, I think, have been missing a couple. Remember to mark your pass and failure. You can mark multiple passes and failures for multiple skills in a conflict, but you can't mark it more than once. Each skill. All right, so next, Erber goes to maneuver while he goes to attack. All right, so you made your pitch, and now he makes his.
That's not good.
The spirit roils up as he looks down upon you. There is only one elf amongst you. The rest of you are unworthy to walk in these halls. You seek treasure, not victory. You know nothing of this place. You know nothing of this struggle. You would wield this dagger as a mere trifle, or perhaps sell it for a mere night's pleasure or a cask of wine, ignoring its noble purpose. I have existed for 1,000 years to keep this vault sacred and kept safe from the likes of people like you. You shall depart from henceforth from these halls immediately and never return.
Look at him like, okay. Well,
I was with you. Everything except that last part.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of going, okay, so hold on a second.
And it would probably
First
be 2
off,
nights.
I'm a dwarf. I don't sell amazing pieces of weapons and armor. Those things are meant to be cherished. Gold, that's what it's there for. But that, no, that is a treasure to always be held and appreciated. And yes, there's only one elf amongst us, but realistically, that doesn't matter. Me and him have held, I mean, dwarves and elves, come on. You know, as you know, we have not been the best of friends, and we might.
Your existence here proved that this elf is not even worthy of the title elf.
Yes, he is. You know why?
It's the elfiest
He
elf
actually
we've ever
looks
elfed.
out.
That's right. I'm a 6 nature elf.
Yeah. He's more elf than you are.
That is true. My nature is 5. So he's like, oh no shit. Okay.
Damn it.
All right. So laughing out loud that you were maneuvering. He is attacking. However, he did set you guys up last turn. So you guys are going to roll with 1 less die, and he's going to roll with 2 more dice. Ouch.
With that manipulator.
So yeah. So you are. So you're going to do a manipulator because you are maneuvering, and
like 12 dice versus, right?
And then it's a versus.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
you notice he never put a number above that guy to show what his disposition was because it does
sometimes
not
it doesn't
matter.
work.
Oh,
on
you know
our
what?
screen. He does sometimes.
Sorry,
see it.
it's there. I just
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't show it to you guys.
Oh, I just figured his he was such a high.
It like defaults like for him only.
It defaults to just
to not showing.
Yeah, there you go.
I just figured with his precedence so high.
No, so you should see it now.
Mm,
No, maybe yes.
that's all right.
Oh, there we go.
Ah.
Oh,
wow.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Rebellions are built on hope.
Rebellions are built on hope. Okay, so Erber, you are going to be making a persuader check. This is a manipulator. Right. So this is versus. Normally it would be versus 5 dice, but because he maneuvered, it's versus 7 dice.
Oh, 1 versus 7. I could use some help here, guys. Just saying.
All right.
I walk over to the dwarf and I tell the elf ghost, that times are changing, and I will speak for this dwarf as being a fine dwarf, the finest of dwarfs. And I put my arm around him and I kind of like hold him, but like everyone else can tell, there's a big grimace on my face. I'm just struggling to do this.
It looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You better not hate me. I push you out of the way of poison gas. I don't want to hear your grimaceness.
Smell like poison gas.
Yeah, your fault.
All right, Bob.
Guys,
so
keep it down. He can hear you.
Yeah.
Bob, how are you helping then?
I am trying to convince him that where he was saying that, basically we were all unworthy, but maybe there's an elf that we are actually friends, and these people are all equal to me. As you see that I am this great elf, or elfiest elf, that these people are my friends, and we are in this together.
Got it.
So I'm trying to convince him a little bit, because I actually don't really care for this dwarf that much. But
correct. Manipulating means using lies, half truths, ugly truths to get your point.
We are friends.
Yeah, we are friends. All right, so that's good. So you got 1 die of help.
Yep.
Anybody else in the party? Manipulator can be helped by manipulator, haggler, persuader, and remember, if you don't have any of those skills, you could potentially help with your nature. And of course, as a GM, I have the right to allow 1 other skill to be helpful in a check if I feel like it is a good thing. So it's always useful to describe your help, and I might just say, nope, that doesn't help. But you're not out anything if that doesn't work.
I have a question. Erber used his wise, and it benefited this roll differently. How did it benefit the roll differently? He did
aid.
Yeah, what is
aid in a conflict doesn't really do much. Aid normally protects you from the downsides of failing a roll. So.
Oh, I thought he'd used it for the last one, but it was just helping. Okay, because I have this idea. Now you can tell me if this is going to work. But in a social conflict,
if
I were to say like flourish every thing that someone was saying is an argument one way or the other, would that be needles a little salt wise, seasoning it, saying, yeah,
Metaphorically. That's awesome.
I love it. That is absolutely.
Okay, you got VIP today. You got the VIP
All right,
right there.
okay.
Yeah.
Basically, you're going full hype man. You're just like, you're like, Carlos, he's my friend, best friend. You've got somehow. Why is he got a big clock on a necklace around him? You don't understand. He's just the hype man. Just going, Sunday crew. What? That's awesome, Ryan. Yeah, totally. So laughing out loud, you can add a aid die to your check as well. As Sadok throws in the little bit of salt. Oh, that was a good argument. Could use a little bit more.
So this is a maneuver. So we're trying to set up.
Correct. You're setting up for a big thing.
For the attack that I'm doing.
Right.
So he's going on that we're using these things for frivolous purposes.
Correct.
And, whatnot. So I am going to set up my attack argument.
Okay.
By saying, holding up the shield lit with the fire of the burning Lord. It says, the power of the gods is mine to command. I can use these powers for anything I desire. And I'll finish that thought on my card.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. All right.
It's an interesting mechanic to set up in the convince thing. It's interesting. I kind of like that.
Laughing Out Loud, add another help die from Boothby. And then GM Scott, do you want to help at all, or can you?
Well, of those skills you mentioned, the only one that I actually have any points in is Manipulator.
Yeah, so you can. All you have to do is describe how you're using lies, half-truths, ugly truths, platitudes, seduction, or intimidation. Bob, we've been here before, seducing a ghost.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think the ugly truth is probably the ugly truth that is along the lines of what we're trying to establish here is that up until just recently, I didn't trust any of these guys because I didn't know them. But having spent time with them, they are now my best friends. So that's the half truth, right? It's partially true.
Right.
I do not trust them anymore. But yeah, they are now my greatest companions. And I also will walk to the other side of the dwarf and put my arm around him as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
mirroring the elf.
And again, I cannot stress this enough. This is all manipulated. So all of this is a lie, and this is all just being none of this is true. I love it. Half truth.
Sort of friends. Definitely not besties over here with Ryan's character.
All right. So you now have 3 dice of help, 1 dice of aid, 2 dice of manipulator, but you're sick, so you get a minus penalty to the dice. You have.
I would like to use my trait, cunning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Additionally, you guys didn't really intimidate, which is what's normally used for maneuver. So, but whenever because you can also be unarmed and get a penalty, but whenever you evoke your beliefs, traits, personalities, it counts as an improvised weapon in convince traits. So you don't get a bonus, but you don't get the penalty for being unarmed. Just like in combat, if you're unarmed, you get a penalty. Well, if you're unarmed in a conflict, if you just go, listen to us, that counts as being unarmed. So it's 6 dice versus 7. I mean, it's as good as you're going to get.
Is there a way to add a persona or fate, or is that just after the roll?
You could channel your nature, Laughing Outlaw. And in this case, it would be within your nature, right? Isn't your nature negotiating? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because that's a choice he made. Most dwarves don't have that. He took that and replaced what was it? Ancient grudges.
Yeah.
Because of his choices that he made. So his dwarf is much more willing to compromise. All right. So what you got to do here then, Matt, is tick your persona down to 1-1 from 2-0. And no. You can do that right there on the roll screen.
Okay.
Right there at the top of the middle column.
There you go.
Yeah. And then click the channel nature button.
There it is. All right, cool.
And then it's within your nature, because you do have this negotiating nature. So this is you digging deep into what it means for you to be a dwarf, right? For you, being a dwarf means negotiating, coming up with compromises, figuring at the deep, and you're digging super. So now you have 10 dice versus his 7. Now keep in mind, this isn't an attack, but it will defeat his attack because it's a versus. So if you win, he doesn't. And also remember that precedence works like might. which is the bonus successes he gets, he only gets if he wins. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
10 dice, baby.
Let's do this.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now this is a tie.
Mhm.
You could gain 2 checks if you give it to him.
Correct. That's right. If you break a tie breaker in your opponent's favor, you gain 2 checks.
But that means he will do his
Well,
precedence.
Well,
in
it
damage,
means
right?
that he essentially wins by 1, and then he would add his precedence a bonus over you, which is 2.
Yeah.
And he would do 3 points of damage to you guys. Yes.
But if we keep it like this next round,
No, if you keep it like that, tiebreakers have to tie break. So if you guys don't break this tie, then we have to go to a tiebreaker.
Could I roll a precedence to re-roll all the failed dice? Persona. re-roll all the failed
If you
dice?
have a wise that applies,
Elf-wise.
then yes, you could.
All right,
So
let's
And you,
do
also,
it.
All right,
and you also rolled this 1/6. You could roll that again to explode it.
Well, you have to spend a
Yeah.
fate point for that.
Yeah.
But
but
I would.
re-rolling all those failures is a
Yeah.
much better chance of getting
Sure.
one success.
So here's what
So
you do. Matt, you click the of course.
Of course.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's
And then
7 worms in there.
You're going to reduce your current persona by 1, and you're going to increase your total spent. And then you're going to your elf, and then click the persona button because you're gaining wisdom from this. And then how many failed dice were it? 7? 5?
I
5
think
dice?
so. I'm just counting them on the screen.
1, 2, 1, 2,
5. Yeah.
5. So then you're going to tick up that 0 failed dice to 5 failed dice.
Okay, then I need to do this.
Yep, and then you hit roll, of course.
Of course.
Yep.
Hey, got one more.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But that means you won.
I'll take what I can get.
So no damage though, right?
But it means you do not take any damage. And remember, this was his big setup from his manipulator. So he, you guys, Erber starts being like, well, if you can remember, in 1722, the dwarves and the elves agreed at a 3% marginal rate to, and he just he goes so deep and somehow manages to deflect the attack of this guy. And you guys are actually still kind of convinced that you might actually be worthy, even though you probably know that you're
Whatever
not.
you do, don't put me back up to, because that was everything I had right there.
I think that was well worth it.
Now, you guys got maneuver, 1 point of success, which is enough to impede him. So he's going to have -1 dice. The only thing you can choose when you beat maneuver by 1. So he actually is on the back foot. He's going to be at -1 die to this last action, which is Amos versus the Elven Guardian Spirit. Amos is attacking.
Finish him.
I've never. This is the most exciting social conflict ever.
Kidding.
And he is attacking. So
Oh,
Erber finishes making his speech, and the Guardian Spirit seems to be a little bit cowed. He's at 2 of 7. He's actually kind of like feeling like, what is going on right now? And he comes forward, and Amos steps forward, and he steps for the Elven Spirit seems to grow in size and stature and nature, and only thing he says is, I have seen through the skeins of fate, the very weave of time, and I know the truth. The truth is that your ragtag group is not the chosen ones that I have been waiting for. No. You are the inferior group to the other.
Oh,
Man.
that brother.
Oh.
He cuts you deep, right to the bone. I am aware of all the happenings within this dungeon. I have seen your failures and your follies. I cannot even sense the other party, for they have left to go back to town to spend the riches that they have pulled forth. You carry around mere trifles and trinkets and a headless boy's corpse. in the hopeless, pitiful belief that somehow these poor shepherds are going to somehow give you the money. When you get back to town, you are going to discover that you don't even have enough money to buy bread.
Like how Dare said,
Or
all he
Brandy.
says
Oh,
is
these are actually
crushed us,
So,
destroyed us.
so that other guy or that other party, you said we're not worthy because we're just going to spend the money in town, and yet he says the other party is worthy because they are spending the money in
Yeah,
town.
he's like, I
So
wish they would
his
come back
argument-
because at least
his
they kick,
argument
at least
makes
they
no
kick
sense.
ass. You know, at least they're taking care of business.
How much damage did they do to you?
All right. So my attack, as I was setting up my maneuver,
Yes, correct.
I wield the god's own thunder. And what did I come here for? To find this missing boy whose life was lost stumbling into your halls by accident. My one concern was for his safety. When we found that he had already fallen, my one concern, to return him to his family for no reward. The other group left him at the bottom of the pit to rot in your hall.
If the spirit could
Who is
shake
more
its,
worthy than us?
if the spirit could shake his head, he would. Foolish human with your frail sensitivity and your frail concern. You think I care about some human boy? That town of his could rot, all of their bodies laying corpses. The endless eons are what I'm dealing with here, boy. I care not for your heroic antics of saving the dead. No, I have a much more noble and glorious purpose. I am here to defend the one weapon that might save the entirety of this land from the evil that sleeps beneath our very feet. You speak to me of shepherd children, and I'm speaking about the cosmic balance of good and evil. Be gone!
If you are aware of all the dealings in this tune, then you have seen that I, since I have been here, have lived up to the guiding principle to be a defender of the defenseless.
A defender. What I need is a soldier. I need a warrior. I need someone who can wield this dagger and serve it use it for the purpose for which it was constructed, to strike down that which is draconic. Are you that man?
Go over and grab it.
You know what's so funny? My goal is to impress my team with my bravery.
Yeah. Well, that is the best attack I could come up
All
with.
right, Boothby, you're going to go ahead. So this is attack versus attack.
I don't feel as though he was impressed.
These are independent, so you guys go past him. So you're probably going to kill him. The question is, how many people does he take out, or kill him in the conflict? How many people does he take out on his counterattack?
Yeah.
He's only got to roll 6 successes.
All right, Booth.
All right, so this is a persuader.
Persuader. And of course, you can be aided and helped by people in your party with the appropriate skills.
Wait, this is independent?
Yep, independent, ob 0.
All right.
Because it's just attack versus attack. Neither of you was defending there. You were both just like throwing blows at each other. You weren't like trying to like defend your point. You were just trying to make yours.
Okay, who's got
have
help?
anything for this?
Persuader
guys.
Persuader is helped by Persuader and Manipulator. That's it.
This is for all the marbles.
I know.
We're gonna lose
Wide
anyway.
Yeah.
negotiator or manipulator.
And of course, you also have to describe it, and you have to describe why you're helping and how that helps.
So
And
while
remember,
this
this
battle,
is, I'm sorry, this is an attack. This is a persuader. This is different than what you guys have been doing, which is these lies and half-truths. This is where you're making a point, based in truth and based in evidence and based in your beliefs.
So while this was going on and he was talking about the ancient evil and
Yeah.
he's been around for a while and defending against what lies further beneath, I'm gonna peruse my memories and my notes and my scrolls, and can I use Lore Master to try and figure out who he's talking about?
Sure.
And what he's talking about?
Yeah,
And maybe
I will allow
use
you to help.
that.
I will allow you to help with that skill. So that is
Okay.
a bonus to this thing. So
because we can figure out what he's talking about. Maybe he'll, maybe that'll help cow him and say, yeah, okay, maybe they do know what they're doing.
okay, yeah, Jim Scott. All right, so Boothby, that's one die of helping.
Can I use Elf Wise sort of like the same way GM Scott used it, but more elven history of great, because it's a draconic dagger, so
Yep.
it's got to be some kind of dragon.
Yeah.
That's actually the same realm I was thinking.
Anti-dragon, right?
It's
Yeah,
anti-dragon.
I have the
Yes.
location of Elfhome wise, basically.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking the same thing. Like you talk about these ancient, guardians that are meant to use this, and I would know these stories. So you talk about this, that is, hypothetically, that is us. That is Amos. It's probably not me. It's that guy.
Yeah. All right. So actually, you too recall on the GM Scott in the language in the ancient texts, there is the story of the elves and their war against Zargax, the great dragon, and Zargax, who almost laid low the elven civilization. It was Zargax's and their almost defeat at his hand that led the elves to found this place, to try to uncover the secrets of magic so that they could never be destroyed by dragonkind again. Zargax did die, and as part of that, they took one of Zargax's ribs, and they carved it into a blade that focused all of that fell beast's power and the elf's hatred of the dragon into a blade that could defeat a great draconic enemy should one ever arise. But worried that it would fall into the wrong hands, it has remained in Tol Amroth for the past 1,000 years.
Do not fear, there is an elf in this party.
More importantly, there is a mage in the party.
Now, I have a.
Yeah, which one of you guys are going to be up front trying to hit somebody with a dagger?
There's an argument that there's always Sadok is gonna. He's taking the hype man. He wants to push up and be like, I refute your claims of the skein of destiny. We stand before you, not the other group, not my brother, me. And he's gonna dig and go into all his hidden depths.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's awesome. All right, yeah, totally, yes. You're talking about skein of destiny. We're here. We did it. The other group didn't come this way. We did.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, awesome. So everyone helped successfully. That's awesome. All right, Boothby. So it's 6 dice versus Ob 0. You need to do 2 points of damage. Do you want to do anything else involving traits or persona? Or
can't think of anything right now.
all right, let's roll it. Now, of course, remember the counterattack is coming. 3 successes.
There we go. That's good.
All right, so that will eliminate him.
Now, is that a pass persuader? But there's no op.
Technically, it's against Ob 0, so yes. However, his attack still rings in, and let's see how this can work. So,
it hurt me just listening to you tell us about that.
right. And remember, he also has his precedence advantage. So normally he would roll 5 dice, but he is manipulated. You guys maneuvered, so he's actually only at 4 dice. Unfortunately, this is 4 dice plus 2. So it's so I got 2 successes plus 2. So that's 4 successes. So he takes out Karanalas.
Oh.
He takes out Amos, and then he takes out Tain. But I mean, it doesn't really matter it doesn't actually matter from purposes, but that's what it would happen. But you guys get reduced to 0. He is reduced to 0. You have won the conflict. However, because his precedence is higher than you, you cannot actually convince him. So instead, you have to settle for like, for example, if you guys tried to kill a dragon, you would not be able to succeed. But if you won the conflict, maybe you drove him off instead of killing him. But he
would if we had that dagger.
Right, correct. The spirit seems to at the final insistences of the party, the spirit seems to what's going on here. Why is that not resetting? Oh, interesting. That used to reset that. They must have updated like Roll20 or something. It normally gets rid of that little X thing. The spirit hovers for a moment and regards you intently. Perhaps you are worthy of a chance. The dagger I shall not let you claim today. However, if you return with Euphonius, the harp of the grave, you will have proven yourself worthy in this ancient guardian's eyes. However, should you not return, I will know that you are cowards charlatans, and cheats. But the halfling's words do speak to some kernel of truth. Perhaps the skein of destiny itself does have something to do with you. The skeletal guards animate around the edge of the room.
Ah, dang.
Right.
I assume they're not attacking us.
They're going to help us carry all that treasure up.
Yeah, buddy.
You silly boy. Hold on one second. Here we go. Loading, please wait. Loading, please wait. Apparently, you guys have never. It's like that line from The Matrix, like where it's like, "Why do my eyes hurt?" It's like you've never used them.
I've never used them before.
That's like you guys with loot.
Yeah.
We do all these great things and we get jack shit for it.
Yep.
The 4 skeletons come forward, each bearing an urn, and deposit 4 stacks of gold coins at your feet.
Ooh.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
The spirit says, "This is but a part of the wealth of Tol Amroth. I care not for trinkets or treasure, but I cannot give away easily that which my people left in my protection. Still, you have impressed me this day, and while I will not give you the Dragonbone Dagger, you may take these coins under the belief that you will return with the harp, prove yourself worthy, and then your destiny shall be revealed to you, and your final quest be made manifest. If you are willing to accept the terms of these conditions, I will place upon each of you a geas, a magical quest and compulsion that, should you fail, will result in your death regardless."
I step forward.
Oh, sick. Nice.
Can I use negotiation to maybe get a little bit more gold out of this? or
Yeah,
something
like
that?
another stack. So we each get one.
If 4 of if you guys hadn't been reduced to like 2 disposition, you probably would have gotten more. The fact that you're getting this at all is because you guys did so well.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, yeah, I'm going to switch to D&D mode right here. Hey, that isn't enough. Give us more.
Now, now, to be fair, this is the compromise. You won the conflict. And I'm saying that, so the compromise is, by the way, that you guys are all made, you get this gold. You guys are all made hungry and thirsty, and you guessed it, afraid. So that's the compromise. The compromise is he gives you the gold. He told you what you need to do. You get the geas and the quest. You get 8 dice worth of cash. Each of those stacks of gold is worth 2 dice. And you get the afraid condition because of the chilling nature of his words that dug into your bones. Now, you won.
Hungry, thirsty, and afraid?
Hungry, thirsty, and afraid. But that's up to you guys. I mean, we can negotiate. You won the conflict. So Boothby is ultimately the one who gets to decide whether or not you guys accept those terms. But we are past the point of checks. The checks have gotten us to this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we would give up.
Well, it's more of like, is that enough? Do you feel like you have been? Remember, you tried to kill a dragon here, right? Like you guys do not have the
first level characters against a big dragon.
Well, yeah, you guys do not have the precedence to convince him. So that's why even though you succeeded, that's why he's not convinced and giving you the dagger. If you guys had been precedence high, if you had been precedence 2, then you could have, he would have listened to you. But you're still not. He's basically telling you this is what you need to do to get that. But he does feel like, you've proven some of your worth. Here's some gold, but the experience still left you a bit hungry, thirsty, and afraid. But that's if you guys accept that.
Hey, Boothby, you might want to ask. He said we're worthy, and
might be worthy.
Well, might be worthy.
Yeah,
but
might be worthy.
Maybe we're the only worthy ones because he flip flopped a lot. First, it's not about the treasure. Then it's about this other group that is about the treasure. And then they left, but we're still we're in here trying to find the truth. And they just grabbed some gold and went back to spend it. So, I mean, he's sort of flaky a little bit. Maybe we are the worthy ones compared to the other guys.
So we're all in a
think we
group,
are.
and I kind of stick my head up, and I'm like, Just a minute. We'll be right with you.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't happening in character. I mean, this is
Yeah.
happening.
I
Now,
mean,
of course,
I think we're good. I mean, I don't.
I'm all for getting geased. I mean, we were going to do this anyway, right?
I put my hand on
If-
Amos's shoulder and I said, "You don't have to make this call. I will." And I walk forward to get the blessing as I bow down in front
I
of him.
cannot speak for my allies, but Karanleth and I at least will volunteer.
I was in the
Bob, that's true. Bob probably doesn't know what gias means, so he called it a blessing. I'll just kind of
that's what I
laugh
thought it
and
was.
say, yeah, okay.
No,
Yeah,
no,
blessing,
this is a
perfect.
curse. This is a
Yeah.
curse.
But Karanleth doesn't know that, so I'll just say,
Nope.
yeah, blessing. Yeah. Come on, Bob.
See, here's the thing, though. I could totally cure us of a curse. I might explode, though.
Everything you do, you might explode. That's the part of
Yeah, so what you're saying,
There's
one
a
of you
guys
much
blow
higher
up.
chance of it.
You guys might see it as a curse, but to me, I mean, I'm already about to go on to the next level or the other land. So to me, maybe dying for this this great cause of finding, getting. If I can't complete this, then what's worth living anyway?
Yeah, well, and it would be brave, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're
Zadok is kneeled with Carnal.
accepting it.
Yeah, I'm stepping forward.
So we're volunteering to come back, prove our worth, take the dagger, and kill the dragon?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
The only thing that's going to stop us is
I'm
the freaking
volunteering
Saturday
to take
crew
the
gets the
gold.
harp.
Yeah.
It means we're
We
going to
gotta
kill
kill
the
them.
group.
Well, do they even know about the harp?
Not until
That's
they
the
watch
thing.
this episode.
That's true.
So,
Well, then,
Hey, Derek,
then
we
we may
filled
have to
out.
have a very special session where we get 10 people in Zoom.
2 groups enter, 1 group leaves.
Right, 2 groups enter, 1 group leaves. The other group has decided, you guys have chosen to drive off. The other group has decided to kill. It's like, shit.
But yeah, I go
so
forward.
I don't suppose you can tell us where the harp is, as you are.
So has everyone accepted the terms of this?
Oh,
I think
Spirits
Matt's the only
agreement.
one that hasn't said yes.
I've been letting y'all talk, so I don't want to interrupt. He's born of earth and stone. He's like, he's not going to let an elf show him up about defeating a dragon. So yeah,
With a small
he'll
piece of
accept it.
bone.
Mhm. So yeah, he's going to accept it. He's not going to let an elf and a bunch of humans show him up. And the more
And
powerful
one
you get,
brave
Halfling.
halfling.
Okay,
All
so
right.
hear that,
Height man
Zadok?
right
You've
there.
been promoted to a human.
Yeah, sorry. All right, well,
he does wear shoes.
the spirit seems pleased that you all have agreed to this geas, and he waves his hands, and you feel the ancient elven magic surround you, blue light surrounding you with runes sort of binds around your wrists and your chest. The circles kind of glow brightly and then sink into you. He then explains that for every...
So here's the fine print.
So here's the fine print. Here's the fine print. Every time you end a town phase, if you haven't been to Tol Amroth since that town phase, you all suffer a condition, the next condition. So it just keeps grinding you, basically. Like, you'll basically grind in town as long as you don't keep coming back here.
So no 2 town phases in a row.
Right. Well, or you could do a town phase and then you go do some other adventure, and then when you come back and do the town phase, you would get hurt.
wait,
you
there's another adventure?
know? Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it's a sandbox booth, B. This isn't the only dungeon. This is dungeon number 1. There's dungeon number 2.
I thought it was a mega dungeon. I thought this was the kind of game I hate.
No. This dungeon has 18 areas, 20 areas, maybe.
So the question is, you
mega
said
dungeon.
town phase. So what happens if we go to a city?
But that's the same as
Or like
it's all
a crossroads.
it's all
Does
called-
that,
Yeah.
does that count?
that's all town. That's all town phase. Anytime it's a town
Village phase.
phase. Yeah. Anytime there's only 3 phases in the game: adventuring phase, camp phase, and town phase. You're in one of those 3. All right. Yeah. He seems pleased that you have taken that upon yourself, and then he pauses for a moment. You guys did defeat a higher presence guy, and he goes. He kind of floats over and he waves his hand and he says, "One more thing. Maybe you are the ones that I have been waiting for 1,000 years. But you guys suck and you will need help."
That's why we're here to get the dagger.
Well, the dagger I cannot just give away. But
I could use a new spell.
perhaps this could help you.
Oh, it does look like a spell You had to say. There we go. Ancient Elven Spellbook.
He just takes it.
Oh,
Yoink.
sorry. Did you guys even
That's
see
mine.
Can you even read that, sir?
Now,
I will learn.
so hold on a sec, but just FYI, this is pack 2 because it's
It's a big tome.
no, all spell books are pack 2. Even GM Scott's
Yep.
current one is pack 2.
Jeez, we gotta make sure we can bring all this stuff. Well,
So GM Scott, this
Roland.
contains Aetheric Appendage, Ethereal Premonition, Wizard's Aegis, and Destiny of Heroes.
Ooh, okay.
So
All 3 of those are better than everything I've got.
well, the one is 2nd level, so you don't even have the ability to cast it yet. But anyways, you can cast the spells out of the book, you know,
Right.
But you'll need to translate it first, which will probably involve a scholar check because it is in a weird Elvish language that you don't know. However, you do not currently have space to carry this book. Just FYI.
Oh,
I have a heavy bag.
I have a
and
giant
free.
sack.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but you're also carrying a jug, so
No, I'm not.
no, you're not. wait.
First we should all.
We're about to drink.
Yeah, we all need to
GM
drink
Scott,
anyway.
see if you can do a
There's-
sleight of hand to replace your jug with a treasure
So
urn.
the
There's
spirit,
2 drinks of wine that I can get rid of.
the Tome Guardians kind of like hem in around the spirit, and basically the spirit seems to indicate, take your shit and go, and return
Yeah.
with me with the harp. So
Sounds good.
all right.
I'm gonna
so-
consume one of those wines. Does
I'm gonna
anyone want the
consume.
other
Yeah,
one?
me.
All right.
Yeah. So that's one. That's one. That's one. And
No, remember,
thirsty
yeah.
Sean.
Consuming wine in the adventuring phase just cures hungry and thirsty.
Yep.
It doesn't. You only as a recovery check does it give you a bonus for recovering from angry.
Do we want to we can get rid of? I can get rid of this bottle if that'd be 2 more uses of.
Well, how much isn't Urbar our mule?
Oh.
How much
Yeah,
can he?
I have a
take?
heavy sack and laborer, so I can hold another 6 because I don't have the crossbow's gone, so
Yeah.
my hands are free.
Well, remember, making a laborer check is a check. I mean, like a test.
Well, yeah, but you said
But
that's if I want to do.
That's if you want to. If you want to, yeah.
If
If you want to dual wield it, but just equipping your sack Urber in both hands gives you an extra 6 slots, which I just added to your character sheet. So yeah, so Urber's now got his large sack slots, basically.
Yeah, so just transfer over. He can take all the gold and then transfer over something, Tain, just to hold on to the book, like your hammer or pitons or whatever.
All right, so you're loading. So Urber goes full Santa Claus. He's just got 2 hands on this big sack just over his shoulder. It's full of gold. There should have been 4 gold.
1 went to Amos.
Oh, okay.
Got to be quick.
Battle leader.
There's wine sitting out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm the leader.
One of those wine. Actually, both of those wines have been consumed.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
The jug is still there.
Okay.
I have taken the jug out of my hand, which means my jug slots can go, but I've put the sack in my hand.
All right. Well, the
Now,
sack.
I can't put the staff in my sack.
Correct.
Mm.
That is correct, sir.
Why don't you just give your flask of oil over to Sadak and then just carry the books?
Or just give me your
Just give him.
pitons, the iron sword, the hammer. Put them in my
All
bag,
right.
and then put that in your bag.
You'll have 2 slots of the books.
Yep. There you go. And I got 1 extra space. 1,
Yep.
2. I got 2, 3 extra spaces I can stick crap in.
All right, I got it. Let's go.
All right.
Do you go for the daggers, Jim Scott?
I was half tempted to go try and grab some gold with my criminal skill.
I think we
I don't
have.
know if there's an opportunity.
Of course there is. If you want to.
No. We need to. Our safety is on the line. Let's get. We have what we came for.
And here's the most important part: we don't have to climb up that shaft because we got the map, so we can just teleport up.
We also don't have any checks to do anything with.
Yep.
That's true.
That's correct.
We got 1. I got
do
1.
we need checks in town too?
Why do you have a check, Urber? Did you use
my cunning?
Oh, you used your cunning against yourself. Okay, make sure you mark that so that people can see that. That's important.
Oh.
So there you go. Perfect. All right, so you do have 1 check.
We should probably drink or eat something. A couple of us that have.
Yeah, the people that are angry and thirsty. You should.
I ate
a
ration.
Now, might I suggest on our way out that we relock the dragon door?
Yes, I was actually going to ask if that's an option that we can do or not.
Mm-hmm. You can.
It probably costs a check or something.
It does. You have to
Yeah.
spend. You have to spend an action.
All right, then I want to make sure before we use this last check, I will just drink a drink of my from my jug.
You mean your last turn?
Yeah,
your-
before
before
the
the
grind.
grinds.
Because then I would get
And then you would get
angry.
angry. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So
Herber needs to drink or eat
Yeah.
as
Then Herber
well.
needs to eat or drink well if you want to avoid that as well. Herber pretty much has every condition. He's getting to the point where it's just anything
It's
happens.
getting a little rough. I'm just not injured or angry.
Yeah.
That makes no sense for a dwarf.
So yeah, so you Sadak drink or eat. You have two things of wine. I have a wine if you want to drink. Herber, you don't have anything left to eat or drink, right?
Nope, I've been, yeah.
Well, Amos has a couple rations. You guys, a couple of you have some wine left in your skins.
Mm-hmm.
Sadak still has a bottle of wine.
Yeah, so drink it up.
All right, thank you.
Sadak.
All right.
Casters to you and Herber.
I guess I can hold the jug even if it's empty.
Yep, you can hold the jug even though it's empty.
That way we don't have to rebuy a new one.
You want to put the jug in my
Or
bag?
do you want to use your
So
food?
how? Oh, I guess that would be later.
What was the question?
I was just wondering because I'm looking at it as a frayed thing, but we don't have. We would need to get one more check for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, right. You did.
Well,
Well,
right.
you'd have to go to camp to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could go to camp and Herber could give you his check.
Mhm.
But couple things. Did you guys delete that wine that Herber and Sadak just drank?
No, that's what I was trying to tell him to do.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I have one in my pack or my wine skin if anyone needs it.
All right. Well, it's gone. I just deleted it, and then
Okay.
I'll
Sa-
That
take
was
what's
for
up in
Herber.
mine.
and that's for Herber, and then Sadak is still hungry and thirsty. Needs so who's
Yeah, I'll take mine. I'll drink that. I'll take this one, right? Yep.
All
Okay,
right,
there you
perfect.
go.
Now we're good.
Now we're good. Okay, I just want to double check on that. All right. Well, so you guys depart this room.
Yep, back to the other room.
the spirit-
Reliquary or whatever.
Yeah, the spirit waves at you.
Oh, wait, I wave back.
He's like, "See ya, boys. Have fun storming the castle."
He was friendly.
It'll take a guess.
I kneel and walk out the door,
Um,
Okay. So
yeah, we definitely have to.
crawl out.
you guys had. Oh, you're crawling.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, because nobody else said that they were.
Well, he was going first.
I didn't. The
Left
trap
and-
worked both ways, I guess. But I guess it
Left a
does.
respectful exit here. Yeah.
So, all right. Ryan saves you all
Um,
from getting hit by the trap that you knew was there. All right. So you return to the antechamber.
Yep.
And of course, the doors behind you are still sealed because you guys spiked them.
Yep.
And then, of course, Kurt's body is in this room where you left it.
All right. So we unspike the door, leave,
All right. What
lock the door.
about?
Yep.
So you're leaving Kurt's body here.
Oh,
No.
take the
No,
body.
sorry, grabbing the body.
All right. So,
Amos has been carrying it.
so how are you carrying it?
It was a laborer check before.
Correct. So that's a check,
Hold on.
and you'll have to. Well, right now you've got kind of a lot of stuff going on because you've got a spear and a shield, so you'd have to have some way to put those somewhere, Amos, if you're gonna.
Oh.
Would it fit in my bag?
Last time we said we just had the labor check and it was like,
Yeah, because last time you were just like carrying him to the next room, like you were carrying him up the shaft. Now you're like
All right.
carrying him. He would fit in your sack, Herber. He is pack 4.
Yeah, so I just need to move one of these pieces of gold and just throw them in my bag. And make an open spot.
Sadak has a spot.
Be like goal, please.
So in
What
this,
shot
lar-
I got?
all right. So
There
in
you go.
so in this large sack. So yes, now you can move him into your inventory.
I
they
don't
got
have
a
access.
bunch-
Oh, you don't have it? Let me give you access to it.
We got a bunch of gold
So this
in
is
with this body.
Kurt's.
Yeah.
This is Kurt body. Controlled by everyone. All right. So you should be able to
Alright.
just grab that.
He's in my bag.
All right. So now there is a body of a young boy sloshing around in a pack
Terrible.
full of gold coins.
For the record, he is wrapped up in my cloak.
Yes,
That's true.
That is
That's
true.
true.
That's what's keeping the him from just sloshing
the
out.
soppiness from-
And the coins from
Keeping the
sticking to
pieces
him.
together.
Yeah, it's keeping everything together.
Gosh.
Now
You'll
there's
bring him out. He's covered in gold.
Now Erber's inventory is one that you don't see every day.
I like. He still looks keep on the charcoal and the lint. His inventory is so random.
Well, the lint's in his pocket.
That's right.
That's true. The
Got
charcoal's in the
pocket lint.
bag.
Yeah, it's his pocket lint. All right. Well, then, no turn necessary because no labor. You guys just rejiggered your inventory. Although now it looks like everybody is really full.
Oh yeah, we're trying to get out of here now. Time to go back to town.
I think we
Yep.
found some valuable stuff. I'm good.
Do we need checks in town for stuff?
Only if we want to do things.
So when you go to town, you can spend if you have checks, you can spend them outside of town before entering to do recovery, and that's the only thing that you can use them for. And then you get to enter town. And the
So
town.
if we have conditions when we go to town, how do we get rid of them?
So once you're in town, if you have conditions, you can do things like get time at the inn. You can work on your, work out your anger. You can say everything in town is available. It just all costs money.
Gotcha. Could use probably a check or two myself.
Right, but you can do down stuff for your burden, right, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're in town, for example, Boothby, you could visit a shrine and pray and remove your burden, but it costs money.
You have to donate as well.
Yeah, everything costs money in town. You can even
Right.
you can work on your own personal stuff. You're like, oh, I want to start working on making a new bow or something like that. Cool. Costs money. Everything costs money.
Okay.
But we are at 850. So if
Yeah.
you guys do want to head back to town,
Yes.
So I think the last thing we want to do is relock
Yes.
the dragon.
okay.
Unpeton this and
All
relock.
right. So you're gonna head through the door and you're gonna head back to the
the pit room.
the blue archway. what you guys know is the pit room. The blue archway room. Where is the blue archway room? Okay. And you guys are back. And right now the door is locked or closed, but it is unlocked because of you guys picked it up using the dragon head.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to relock it?
Yeah.
We don't want to just leave it open for them. Now, of course, when we relock it, we're going to have to make sure that we get out of the way quickly so that we don't get poisoned.
Oh, well, somebody who's making a criminal test is definitely going to be potentially suffering some potential things. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to lie, I'll tell you straight up. If that's Ryan or Laughing Out Law, they're already sick, so that would kill them.
Yep. Well, I will take, I will go up there and relock it.
I will stand back and use my elven wise, be like, yeah, you're not doing that right. That's not the way the elves would do that.
All right, that's good.
I'm going to stand back and go back to that safe spot on the stairs I had before.
Yeah, I have lockwise. I'm like, so when that's the thing that
Oh,
makes you poisoned.
That's amazing. So you guys are both sick. So you guys are both sick, but you're both able to stand far away and tell Tain what he needs to do. All right, so
I'll go over the steps as
Since
well
I'm
with
afraid,
Amos.
I can't receive help or I can't help.
you cannot give help, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
receive
but
it
you
though.
said by skills, but like wises and stuff like that. And
Okay.
you
Oh,
said
actually,
wises-
yeah, no.
Wises-
Wises is not help is not the same as aid.
right. So wises or what was it? Nature you can use, but you can't give help. Everything else, wise and nature are considered aid, right?
It's a great question. I will just look it up.
Because that's how I've been doing it. I haven't been doing any skill bases because I've been afraid and I can't do that.
It's been a minute for me, so it's fine. I'll just take a look at the old good book. Here we go. Okay. While afraid, you cannot offer help, which is not aid is not help, or use beginner's luck. But you can use nature if you don't have an unlearned skill. So you can't use beginner's luck, but you can use nature. So yes, you can aid through help, because basically when you're helping, you're getting up close and personal and risking yourself. You're afraid. You're fine standing back over here and being like, no, do it that way. So Sadek and
That's how we got gas the first time.
So Sadek and Erber, you guys are offering aid.
Aid.
And then Tain, that's a criminal test to you, buddy. Ob 2.
You got it, man.
Ob 2.
Yeah, it used
All
to be
right.
Ob 3, but they've disarmed this a couple times.
We're familiar with it enough.
They're familiar with it enough. Yeah, you guys have picked this lock enough times.
All right. Now, is there anything I can do to up? I'm assuming puzzle is 2 on the nose for this.
This is not a
puzzle-wise.
puzzle. Yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
This is just a lock. Yeah.
Let's see. I've already used thoughtful. I don't think I have anything else to aid myself here. Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna roll.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. So
Nice.
so GM Scott, Tain, mark a past for criminal.
Okay.
And then Sadok and Erber, if you haven't already, mark a past for your wise. Because you
and
aided.
now I'm gonna GTFO as fast as I can without falling in the pit.
Would that have also helped been the same thing in the conflict as well?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
all right, cool.
I did
Nice.
not do that. on
If
the
you ever
conflict.
aid somebody with your wise and they pass, you mark the pass. If they fail, you mark the fail. Once you use a fate to when you're doing it to reroll a failure or a persona to reroll all your failures, you want to mark those things. So once you mark all 4, you can change the wise or you can get a mark another success on,
Oh,
on
that's
something.
what that is. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I actually, mine's full. My elf wise is full.
Oh, is your elf wise full? Okay, well, we'll deal with that. We should have dealt with that immediately, but we can deal with it at the end of the session. It doesn't really matter. But
That's what I thought. Figured we'd do it.
yeah. But yes, that's good for you. What were we doing? Oh, you made a check. Criminal,
Yep.
succeed, and a turn goes. So your candle burns out, grind, everybody becomes hungry and thirsty.
Shield is still glowing.
Shield is glowing for the rest of the phase. Is that correct, Boothby?
Yep.
Yeah.
So as soon as you camp, it ends, just FYI. Or go back to town. That's also a new phase. It'll basically stay illuminated as long as you are in this phase. But the candle does go out.
I'm gonna switch my bow out and put my dagger back in my backpack.
Okay.
If we camp, I can knock out all of our hunger.
Now,
before we go.
Just FYI, you're on the map. So that means you have light because of the glowing shield. You're on the GM Scott's Tain's map. So now you can travel to anywhere that is on your map. Which includes the circle stones. Yeah.
We go back down to the skeletons
out
to
of the
get that
dungeon to
torch.
camp.
What's that? What's that, Matt?
I was just saying, do you guys want to get out of the dungeon to camp, or do you want to camp in the dungeon?
Well, if you were to
could go up
camp
top.
right here in the dungeon, then
Yeah.
you would be, you have to make a new camp check and all this other stuff. Now, you do have a camp in the dungeon that you could go back to. That's where you camped that one time when you guys were in the web-filled passages. You could head back there to camp, or you could go upstairs. And now you don't have a camp outside, FYI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we've created that camp. We can go back and use it again.
Correct, because it's on
And
your map.
since we can free travel.
Correct.
That web filled thing might be good because nobody can come. The other team doesn't know about it, and they can't come and fuck with us.
The only
As
downside.
far as we know, they don't.
The
know
only
it.
downside is fast traveling works as long as there hasn't been something that has, changed or tweaked or
Changed.
whatever. But similarly, you now have the ancient tomb on your map too. You could leave this room, go through the twisting hallways, and make your way back to the room where you fell in originally with the skeletons.
Yeah, because I want to go deal with that right now.
We should be looking to get out of here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought we were gonna be
definitely.
going to.
I pretty much met
the
everything.
circle.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, you guys leave, head up the stairs. You make your way through the ancient crumbled stairway. You make your way to the shaft of earth that has the other groups. Pitons staggered into the wall. You make your way quickly up them, having made this traverse several times. And finally, after 3 sessions, you guys emerge back into the sunlight.
With more than just 2 silver to rub together.
With more than just 2 silver rubbed together.
And a dead body in a bag.
A dead body in a bag, just like real heroes, because that's what heroes do. Now you are standing on the top of the windswept ancient circle of stone, atop the ruins of Caran Vanal. The wind whispers in the east. It seems relatively the same since you left down, of course. But of course, you notice that your rope that you had tied around this rope is missing. So clearly, someone or something has been here. But you look around.
Someone stole our broken rope.
Yeah. You don't see any signs of anything else but it is. But hunger fills your belly, and things. Now this is not a new area, by the way, Bob. That's why you're not instincts not triggering or anything like that. So
I'm exhausted anyway.
So the one thing I could think of is now if we
No,
make
I didn't want to
camp-
be that close to the pit.
if we do make camp before we go back to town, because we get one basically. Herber has one check, right?
yes,
That
you
we can
can make check or camp because Herber has one
Right.
check.
But we could, if we make camp, then the instinct happens where
You would cook
I
food, and
cook,
GM Scott would map.
and then also if I believe if that use that one check, I could get rid of all of our exhaustion or all of our afraidness with a little bit of merrymaking and a little bit of booze. And we could boast and celebrate our accomplishments.
You could.
And try and lift our spirits.
Yep. And remember too, that's more like healing, not recovery, which is why I can go out of recovery order. Although I think afraid is everybody's first one anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
I think that's a great idea.
That would get rid of basically more than one condition for all of us. It's a lot more. That's what I think we should do.
I think it's a great idea.
Good.
Okay. Well, the problem is you don't have a camp. So you guys do need to potentially find a camp first.
Find a camp up here on the surface.
Yep.
Find a camp that's hidden. I don't want some random monster coming and getting us.
That is
How about
also a
this
possibility.
bush over here?
And thankfully, we don't have a lot of checks, so we can have a lot of scouts, a lot of people keeping watch.
Yeah,
So
which
if
is
you-
fine.
Right. So if you take a look at your survivor skill, which is on page survival list, sorry, which is on page 175. You know how to make the environment work for them. Making camp factor. The terrain type. Near town? No. Ruins? Yes. Wilderness or caves? 2. Dungeon 3. Blasted wasteland 4. So you are in the wilderness. So this is base ob 2 to make a camp.
Okay.
2. You are a small group of adventurers. So it's 0. So plus 0. So 2 plus 0. And then you can add amenities. If you want shelter, add 1. If you want a water source, add another 1. And if you want concealment, add another 1. You don't need them. So if you just want to find a safe place where you guys can kind of just be relatively comfortable, make a camp, have access to fire, then it's just ob 2. If you want to have good shelter, like from the weather and some degree of protection, that's plus 1. If you want to have a water source, that's another plus 1. And if you want to have it be concealed, that's another plus 1. But those are optional.
The question for us is, us making camp right now, is that going to be the end of the session, or are we still going to have more to do?
I mean, it's 9:00. I mean, we would probably either end it there, or depending on how long it takes, we could make the trip back to town. I mean, camping is technically like a you're spending at least a couple hours, maybe overnight or whatever like that. We can end there; it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we could start next time in town with all your money and stuff like that. But in terms of like getting back to town, that's why I would I know some people had some goals, and I would probably allow for that.
That's just like, because if we were going to camp and then wake back up and then go back, we wouldn't need the extra like hidden stuff or all that jazz.
I don't think we need any of that anyway. I think we just get some rest here, merry-make after that great adventure.
The only thing is they might be factors if in an event roll.
Correct. That is exactly right. But Bob says, "Fuck it, we ball."
That's right. I mean, we just
damn elves.
Feel good.
All right.
Sing us a song about this amazing thing.
So wandering partway back to town and making camp would be equivalent to concealment at that point, maybe, and it would cost us an extra ob, right? Because we're trying to maybe not get ambushed by ratmen as we're camping.
Correct. If you're in a concealed camp and let's say somebody does a twist, I might describe how you hear the creatures skittering at the edges of your camp, but they can't find you. If you don't have a concealed camp and you twist, I might describe how they leap upon you in the middle of the night and slash your throats.
Is this your check, Herber? Survivalist? Is this yours? Who's the one that's been making the check?
I think it's
I'm
you.
dungeoneering.
I think you.
Mine's only a 2.
Well, at least you have it.
What?
But we
The
will
majority of us are.
there is only one skill that helps survivalist: peasant.
And we're afraid, so we can't help.
Oh, and yeah, they can't.
You're afraid. Everyone's afraid you can't help. Anyways,
I only have a 2 here, so this is going to have to be. Well, maybe I can invoke my nature, because part of my nature is fighting.
You could persona to tap into your nature. You can't use your nature because you have survivalist.
Correct.
Now I do not have survivalist.
I have to pee.
So if I tapped into my nature and not running, right? I would have to go against my nature. Doesn't that cost something though?
I think if you
Might
fail,
tax. The tax is if you fail, I think. Don't quote
Oh,
me
so
on
I don't
that.
have to spend a fate or a persona or anything?
You
I
could
don't
get your nature
know.
to spend a persona to tap into
I
it.
yeah, I think the problem with yours is if you fail, you get taxed by the margin of how much you were
Yeah.
minus. So you could lose a lot of your nature as a result. I don't really know for confident.
All right. Well, I mean,
All right, what do we decide to do?
I
think-
think I'm making the roll.
yeah.
Because I know Jim
Peasant
Scott was
with-
talking about maybe using his nature. So
Well, I was thinking about it, but
you'd roll more dice. I mean, that's undeniable.
yeah, it would be 4 dice that I could roll.
and
Bob, you're
and
not going to get any better.
But
if you
I
don't
would
use
have
it.
to go against my nature.
Correct. That is
Doesn't cost-
not boasting or demanding or whatever. So that means
It's,
so it's
well,
called
it's the opposite of running.
correct. It's the opposite of running. So in that case, what would happen, GM Scott, is were you to fail that check, your nature would become taxed.
Okay. But
But
I don't have
Amos
to
can
spend
help
a
you, so
feint or a
peasant.
persona
Nope. You don't
Can't
have
to
help.
do it.
I'm afraid.
because he's afraid. Dang it.
Everyone's afraid.
Yeah,
So
I
there's
would
no
say
help.
then GM Scott, you roll more dice than me.
Yeah, but Bob, you're not going to get better at it. if
You're
you
not
don't
going to
use
get better at it if you don't use it.
You'll never get better if you
it. And
don't.
you're
I
not going
don't-
to get better at it if you don't fail at it.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind survival.
your
I actually don't
traits?
even mind persona pointing. I don't, to
All
get
right.
me to use more.
Well,
I'll let
also,
you do it then. I'll try.
I'm also going to be nice, GM,
Okay.
and quickly take a look
Write
here.
this down.
Well, Tain's not an issue, but I'll take a look at Chronolos. Okay, so Chronolos is not an issue. Well, it's also unfortunate, but if you could figure out a way, because you're going back to town.
Yeah.
If you could figure out a way for people like Sadok and Amos to spend a few more persona and fate points, they would level up.
Not that it does a great deal for me, but
You get a new ability.
I can't afford my new ability.
Well, that's a good
So I
point.
need to spend how much fate and how much persona? to
3 and
level up?
3.
3 of each.
3 and
Three of
3.
each.
So, yeah, I mean I have it on paper. I just don't.
Which is, I mean, again, there's also value in just having the resource to use it when it really matters, rather than just burning it. So I get it. No, you could take one. You could take militant, but you could also take vow to the Lords of Justice. You get to pick one, Boothby.
I don't know that faint.
Oh, I thought I
paid
pick
off
one?
when I was
You pick
doing
one.
Oh.
Wraith brought my die from 1 to 10.
Anyways, just something to consider. That's the only thing I was saying, because I know that a couple
Yeah.
people.
I've been looking for opportunities to spend them on.
Well, remember, every time you help someone, you can potentially spend it.
All right, so you guys are okay with me doing?
They
a
keep
persona?
doing weird stuff that peasants don't help with.
You would be able to help if you weren't so afraid.
But we're so
Yeah,
scared.
because you're so
We're
scared. Hey, look,
Um,
you confronted a vast ancient spirit. I mean, yeah, you're shook up,
I mean, I get it.
and you
All
were
right, so-
lying through your teeth. That most of the encounter.
It's funny. They're all like half like each other. I'm so like, yeah,
Like,
I love
you're like,
these guys.
I love these guys. Everyone else is just like, yes, my brave heroes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I currently don't hate you all.
So I'm gonna make this survivalist roll.
Go for it, buddy.
Do you
Got
think
it,
I
my
should
man.
channel my nature, guys, to use a persona point to get more dice?
I mean, the ob is at least 2, right?
Yeah, and I only have 2 dice.
Yeah. So you're not
But
going
if
to
you
succeed.
So-
fail, you just need a. You just.
So
need
I'm
one
going to
more
say
success,
this:
so-
it's only within your nature, Bob,
Yeah.
of hiding, if you choose to make the camp concealed.
Yeah.
So
And
okay,
how
let's
many
go.
dice would it add
OB3.
up?
Let's go.
So it's ob 3.
What about some of your traits? 'Cause
Traits?
The only one I got is like
Sorry, I just moved you.
firstborn, or they don't really make sense here. Firstborn is more like my elven stuff, like maybe like history or knowledge or being.
Well, it's like a place in the
noble.
trees, right? Is that not Elvie?
Come on,
I mean,
Bob, if you
Yeah, I mean,
fail,
firstborn
you're
is
just
more
that
like
much
I'm a
closer to
bad
going up.
badass elf, you know. Like,
Oh, okay.
Could have
Okay.
used
Calm.
firstborn during our argument with the.
yes,
ghost.
that would have been very appropriate. But
What about calm?
Nope.
Wow.
7 versus 3.
Relatively.
All right, do it.
Oh, this looks terrible. Oh, I barely passed.
Hey! So
Bob's stressing right there.
mark a pass on survivalist there,
See,
Bob.
now you have to fail it to go up.
Yep.
There we go.
So what should we do is next time we make camp, just stack them. I want water.
Oh yeah,
fire.
that's
I
right.
want
That's
this.
you
I
got
want
it.
that.
I
All
want to
right.
build an inn in the middle of
Yeah.
it.
Oh, the third book, the Lore Master's Guide, does have rules for that, for creating a building up your camp into like a little fortress.
Nice.
All right.
So
I'm hungry.
well, hold on a sec. So I have chosen the. You have a check. I have decided you are not in conflict or immediate peril. I have chosen the camp type, which is wilderness. And then I have chosen the camp danger area. You have surveilled, which takes a turn. Bloop. Here we go. And you have found a camp, and you're not cold
Sweet.
camping. Amenities, blah, blah, blah. You've
Concealed.
done that. I'm assuming you're going to keep a campfire going because you're going to cook. All right.
Yep.
Now, do you want to set a watch? One or more characters must volunteer. Setting a watch gives you +1 to the random event roll of camp. Higher rolls better, lower rolls bad. So it's a 3d6 roll. Setting a watch gives you +1, regardless of how many people are set to watch. If more than one character is on watch, the others may help the test to avert disaster. Characters on watch may not make recovery tests, memorize spells, or purify their immortal burden, but they may spend checks to make other tests in camp, like foraging for food or repairing armor. If the result of the camp events is a disaster, the watch may spend a party check to avert the disaster. If successful, the camp phase continues. If it fails, the disaster ends the camp phase.
Yeah, I'll stand and watch.
I can watch because I only have hungry, thirsty, and afraid. And if we do succeed, then hungry, thirsty goes away. So
All right, so Boothby, so Tain and Amos are on watch.
I can watch. I mean, does it matter how many? You said how many?
I think we said that I was going to spend Herber's thing
right.
after to
party.
Mary make.
It's a party.
Yeah.
And then I'm cooking, so
Yeah.
that happens no matter what.
Yeah. So I'll keep watching them too.
All right. So using the survivalist
I'm good
skill to
scout.
find or make shelter for an outdoor camp gives you +1 to the camp events roll. So you get +1. If you have a site with concealment, it's a further +1. So that's +2. If you have watch, it's +1, so you get +3. Having an elven ranger in the party in the wilderness adds +1 to the camp events roll. So you're at +4.
Nice.
All right. If it's a dark camp, then you can reduce the danger penalty, but your camp, it does not have dark. A previous camp disaster gives you a +1, and I can also give you another -1 if I feel like it is warranted, which I have not. All right, so +4. So, Bob, it's your camp. Roll 3d6 in chat.
All right.
Higher is better.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Great. roll.
17. Almost off the or I'm
Money
sorry,
rains from the sky.
Yeah,
20.
right.
How much
Actually,
plus did we get
off
to
the
this?
+4.
Yeah,
so it's
I think we have
18.
+4. I think it's really 18.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
A perfect roll.
You find a cottage on the side of the road.
Out
There's
of the
that inn we
wind.
talked
The
about.
site you pick is perfectly sheltered from wind and weather. Get a +1 dice to all recovery rolls from angry and exhausted when camping in this area.
Nice.
But by the way, that's going forward. This camp
Yeah.
has that
Right,
going
because
forward.
Scott has an
Our
instinct
good
to map.
camp.
Yeah, and I have an instinct to map. So now
Correct.
that we've made camp,
You are now successfully in camp, which is in a great place, out of the weather, and you get +1 dice to recover from angry and exhausted when you're in this camp. So
And we can, if he succeeds in this thing, we have instant travel to
Yep.
the elves person and this nice camp.
yep,
Yes.
that's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. All right, well,
So-
camp is starting, so instincts trigger.
here comes cartographer.
All right, so you're adding what? The other room and this camp, is that it?
This room in this camp.
That's it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it should be 2 things.
it's
yeah.
it's only the. So this is a very low one here. So this is a small area 1, and it's your personal area, so it's ob 2.
2. Perfect. Can I get the dwarves aid with just engineering again? And
We're afraid.
Would you like me to remember?
oh,
some
they're afraid. Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's
can't
right.
do anything. Can't do anything for you.
All right. So I've got
And I can't. We're outside, so delving doesn't count.
no, correct.
okay. So I
What
got
about wises? Do you have any wises?
I got
I
elf,
don't.
and skewed appraisal.
No.
That needs a little bit of line work on that, man. A little bit of soul.
You stretch the metaphor enough.
He's not throwing shade. He's throwing salt.
I don't even have I don't think I can do that because it's
well, it's an instinct anyway. So
Yeah.
That's not nature.
Okay. So yeah, I got 3 dice against Ob 2. This is gonna be tough, guys.
go for it.
You got it. I believe in you.
What about your traits?
Nope.
Can you re-roll one with a persona or something?
I don't have persona.
He does not have persona.
I
But
have
the good news is
point.
the good news is, GM Scott, you succeed, but you were made angry because you're like, I just fucking suck. Now this counts as a failure for your cartography skill. But I'm giving you success with a condition. So you
2 more successes and I can bump up my cartography.
There you go. So you succeed,
So never.
but you're frustrated by your continuing problems with your memory. It turns out like being in a dungeon is a lot different than being growing up in the stacks of the libraries in your master's tower, and it's like where is my intellect? It's failing me. So you do pick
Too
up
much
a condition.
dust.
All right, Ryan, the fire is blazing.
All right.
There's no wind, so it's not smoky. You know how when you go camping, it always fucking seems to blow back in your face. It's actually
Always.
All right. So
No matter where you
No,
I
yeah,
am-
you move to the other side. I'm convinced it creates some sort of like backflow draft or
Yep.
something.
It's
Wife
going to be
trumps me when it comes to that. That's perfect.
A cooking roll.
Yep.
Modified. I'm going to spend the garlic. Thank you, Herber, for the garlic.
Do you guys have? Oh, you do still have some fresh rations, don't you?
I'm
Yep,
going to use
we
the
do.
fresh rations.
All right.
I am also going to use my quick-witted trait.
Okay.
How
How does quick wit help you with cooking?
Well, how about this? From the depths. The other one.
No, and that's true. Remember, because it does say hidden depths could also apply to your hunger.
Oh, that's where you, that's where you say, "Kay, shut up."
He's like, I'm cooking here.
And then I want to use some of these points I've got. And now I have salt wise, but I also have nature in merrymaking. And I really want to lift the spirits here. This is my goal as a group to really, we're all, I know I'm gonna ham it up. We're gonna have a little halfling party outside the thing. So that's why I would like to, if I can, channel my nature.
So it sounds like you're trying to do more than just create a meal.
We're this is, I mean, we got
This is a celebration banquet.
This is celebration, yeah.
Yeah, we made it out alive.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. If you can make, so you have fresh food, which is 1. It's small group, which is 1. So that's going to be 2. Ob 2. But if you make it Ob 4, okay, not only will you cure the group's hungry and thirsty, you'll give everyone an additional +2 dice to any recovery checks that they make in this phase.
Oh, but we just don't have the.
We don't have the checks.
We just don't have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't have the checks.
All right. Then I won't take that. I
All
won't
right.
do that. But I will hit in depths. So then can I channel my nature or
You
use-
can. I mean, you'll
use
just
some-
really succeed.
Yeah. What can I do with these fates are sits use a wise to learn from help?
Yeah, fate's when you help somebody and when you fail. And you can use your wise you can spend fate points to reroll wisdom fails.
Yeah, I mean I really want to do it. So I'm gonna.
You can also spend persona points, Ryan, just to give you +1 die for each persona point that you spend.
Yeah. Is there a downside?
But it might make more sense to wait to the merrymaking to do that, Ryan?
Yeah,
because
right.
that's going to be the harder.
Oh,
op.
right. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
true. Okay, then yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
do it like this with the 1. All right, cool. All right, so 1, 4, and then it's a 4 against Ob 2.
Yep.
4D is this against my cook roll? What's my cook at? 3. Oh, it's because I'm sick.
Yes.
And you have no taste buds.
And you sweated it out.
Oh,
You made it.
All right. Sadok creates
Nice.
from a single thing of rations. He's down to his last fresh ration. Those rot, by the way, when you go to town.
yeah.
You managed to create a filling meal for everyone in the party. Everyone remove hungry and thirsty.
Awesome.
And now you have 1 check. Amos has 1 check. Or, Herber has 1 check, which is apparently he is giving to Sadok. And with this meal, and in this sheltered camp away from the wind, and with a bag full of loot and bodies, you guys decide to throw a grand celebration. You guys finally didn't completely suck. And Sadak goes crazy with his merrymaking. All right, so Erber spends the check. Sadak, you are going to go ham on trying to recover everyone from angry and afraid.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be Ob 4.
And is it a +1 because of the location?
Plus,
is this a recovery roll?
It's not a recovery. It isn't a recovery roll, but because it's such a nice location, I'll give, because you guys aren't making rolls. Ryan makes one roll.
Correct.
Basically try to join in and help everybody else.
Does this start with as a nature roll?
It is a nature roll. You're using merrymaking, yeah.
And then I have the gear from the wine.
Yes.
Which goes away. That uses my last thing of wine.
Yes. For this kind of party, I'm going to need at least two draughts of wine to be consumed. So
I got wine for you.
Okay. I also have other dice from the location.
Correct.
And then I have is it Ob 4, you said?
Yeah.
Can we help?
You're all afraid.
Yeah.
With
After he does this,
I
then
can
we
make
can
a
help.
really nice table for him to put stuff on.
I think the only way you can do it would be to aid, right? With the wise.
Yeah.
So gear, and then was there any other things?
Well, this is where you could channel your nature.
Oh, channel the nature. Okay. So I didn't know if I could, as I was already channeling the nature. Okay, it's within.
Correct.
And then I'm gonna do that to 1 and put total spent to 2. I think I have everything here. 9D versus Ob 4.
Yep.
You got it, man.
All right. I hope the party's good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The halfling throws a fucking rager. You guys go ham, and everybody cure your angry and afraid. So everybody get rid of all your angry and afraid.
Exhausted and sick again.
After the trying tribulations of the past 3 sessions, almost 4 or 5 days spent underground, I think, if I did all the right thing, you guys have returned. You have battled with rat creatures. You have fought the undead. You have confronted an ancient elven spirit, and it believed in potentially your worth. You're now blessed or cursed with a geas from the said spirit, and you are heading back to town. So everybody heal all of that, and with that, your last camp check is done. So it is now time to go back into the adventuring phase. And I say that because you do need to make a Pathfinder test to get back to town.
So mine's 3.
Can I?
I haven't played Pathfinder in so long.
Apparently, I'm going to be playing again starting Fridays.
Well, it's Starfinder, but it's close
I don't know how that happened, Bob, but
I don't know either.
It was like a joke that turned into a real thing that suddenly got even more bizarre by the minute. But
I quite enjoy like just the little bit of freshness that the sci-fi stuff gives. It felt. I've only played like once.
Well, apparently we're playing Starfinder plus Battles do best Eldamon.
And my thing is, if a Smith campaign starts out fighting in space, where the hell are you going to fight the gods?
Right, in a small dungeon underneath the tavern in the middle of town. But I think Smith was lobbying for that very aggressively, Bob, because I think that's what he wanted to play, and that's okay. He's running the game, and I think he had ideas for Northern Reaches, and that like they didn't manifest. So I think he was just like, I want to use these ideas.
He's going to take it out on you.
It's just because I told the guys, I said, look, I want to run Fabula Ultima because it's like one of the top games on my list that I want to run. Like the 3 games I want to run the most right now. Well, actually, number 1, the is after my own group hyped me up again, is to run Legend of the Five Rings again, because my own group was hyping me up on Friday they're like, that was the best campaign of all time. I think about it every night before I go to bed. Like, this is seriously what they were telling me at the session. This is
also the same ones where they much like Scum and Villainy. They couldn't take the pressure of
Well,
playing, right?
no,
not this one.
Not this one. That was the first one. I ended this one because it was just too much for me with the channel and all that other stuff at the time. We were running that, plus we were running the APs and stuff. And I just, guys, and that's kind of what happened today. Or I was going to run Fable Ultima. I was like, guys, I have so much going on now, and now that I've lost my job and my dad died and all this other stuff, like I've just got so much stuff that I handle. I said it'd be kind of nice just to play. And not to have one less thing on my plate. And so Smith said, yeah, I'll play. But like my list of things that I want to play was not Legend of the Five Rings, but it's the top. But is Avatar Legends, the One Ring, 2nd edition, and then whatever we were just talking about.
Fabula Ultima.
Fabula Ultima.
Oh.
And so I really do want to run Fabula Ultima, but I just said it's not the right time. That being said, if we're going to play Pathfinder 2 or Starfinder 2, I really just want to play Eldamon because I do think that is actually really sweet. I think the mechanics are awesome. All right. Can Karanelos get you back to town? Well, you're not afraid anymore, so you guys can actually help.
And
I would like to make a case.
Yeah.
For the Pathfinder role.
Okay.
Aid with the skill that is not on the list.
Okay.
I am Amos Sheepscar of the local Sheepscars.
Yeah.
A peasantry family.
Yes. You know these
wander these fields with their sheeps.
That's how you do it, boys and girls. That's how you do it. That's how you officially. That's how you argue for your skill. Yes, Amos, you can help with peasant.
The scout help,
and I would like to use a fate point to mark a.
Yeah, whether he passes or fails. Yes, synergy.
Yeah, Pathfinder is helped by Scout or Cartographer, which I will lend my Cartographer skills.
Perfect.
Meager though they be.
Yes.
I also am going to do the same thing: scouting, helping, and using a fate point.
Got it. Yeah, when you use a fate point to help, it's called synergy. By the way,
I'm using synergy.
Doesn't really make a difference,
but
that's what it's called.
I got 2 helps and 1 synergy.
I will synergize as well because I have a fate point left that I haven't spent.
There you go.
Yep. So make it 2 synergy. I'm doing it 2 on scout.
So technically, you have 4 synergy, Bob, not 4
it's
help.
all synergy. Okay.
It's all synergy.
We're all blowing those fate points.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So don't forget
this could be a success. Yeah.
Yeah, to see what he rolls. But all right, Bob, it's ob 2.
What's the ob 2? Okay.
I think.
So
let me double check.
Synergy does. Oh, and it's help, right? It's
it just counts as help. It's just for purposes of tracking.
So it's 7 dice versus 2. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
You could. Well, no, because checks go away when you go to town, so don't bother.
Yeah. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. It's a short journey, and the route condition is well traveled. So it is 3, actually.
Okay. Here we go. I've been rolling good today.
Hey, it's a path. Okay, so everyone who synergized, mark a pass.
On the skill that
you helped with.
All right, awesome. I just leveled up on Scout.
Sick.
Nice. I'm 1 success away from Cartographer 4.
That's my first peasant success.
There you go.
So does it immediately take up to 3?
I believe it does. So I can triple check that. I mean, we are at the end of the session.
You have to spend a week in town playing.
No, the only time you need to do that is when you're at leveling up. If you spend your points, it doesn't happen until you get back to town. Like if you spent 3 and 3, but you're like in the middle of the dungeon, it doesn't happen. Advancing.
Did he make it?
He did.
He did.
Wait.
So you can mark your success in Scout.
3 for 3. It's a good thing we all helped him.
Yeah, it was a little closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Man, my stats build up a lot more when I'm paying attention.
It's amazing how much more they fill up when you play.
Advancement happens as soon as the test requirements are fulfilled. After rolling against an obstacle, after a test in a conflict, or after earning a test from practice. So Ryan, you remove all your passes and fails, and you go to edit mode, and you up the skill by 1 rank.
All right.
And you guys arrive on the outskirts of town. Now, chronologically speaking, I think you guys get here before the other party gets here. So,
really?
Yeah.
There was some stuff that Derek told me about.
What the hell were they doing?
You'll find out.
So,
yeah, I purposely not watched any of the vibes.
I don't want to because
I don't either. Derek just said it in passing, and I was like,
when,
that's
when
funny.
we're done, I'll watch them.
Yeah.
And so I just need to roll our town event.
And we were supposed to when we did conflicts, if we helped with a skill, that was supposed to go up if I helped with a skill and
No.
they succeeded?
No,
Okay,
only if you spend a fate point.
Gotcha. That's why I wanted to double check. I was like, okay, I think I did everything right today. I didn't know.
All right. For starters, you have no remaining checks, so you don't have to worry about recovery tests. All fresh rations are destroyed. Preserve rations stay, but fresh rations are destroyed. I think you only have a single fresh ration left. I think Sadok has the only fresh ration left. So that is, I'll delete that there. Sadok is destroyed. It goes to the dogs.
We did some good job figuring out how much we needed.
Then the Game Master rolls for town events on the appropriate town events table and applies the results. If there is no disaster, then we enter town phase. All right. So this is a remote village. It's not exactly a, bustling metropolis here. So I will roll my dice. 3d6. And we got 11. And I rolled a fucking hero quest die for the other d6. That's great. 17. Ha Huzzah, Amos! It is, as you arrive, it is, the town is in the midst of some sort of festival. It is a festival for the Lord of Sowing and the Lady of Reaping. Offering a prayer at the shrine and gaining the blessing of the immortals gives you a +1 dice to peasant and steward tests until the next town phase. So if you go and offer a blessing, you'll get +1 dice to peasants and steward tests until the next time you go to town. But you guys have now successfully entered town. And so there was no disaster. Spoiler alert. The other party entered town and there was a disaster.
Yeah.
So, but chronologically,
I thought you said we got here. Oh, so after.
Yeah, their event roll did not go so well as yours.
Nice.
So apparently this happened like the day or two before. So we'll start next session in the town phase.
Sweet.
But
so as we enter town, it's like success in coin. We finally see, regardless of our destiny, here's to mediocrity.
There you go. Well done.
I don't think we've played mediocre. I think our dice rolls have made us mediocre.
Correct.
There is some
that's the truth
to that.
Then we are mediocre.
I do not think we are mediocre. I think we are on the precipice of something greater. We've sworn a gaius to an ancient elven spirit. This is not peasant shit. This is our town shit. We are adventurers.
Right. And since the last town phase, you guys have been to Tol Amroth, so the gaius does not affect you. So you're clear there. And then real quick, before we do this, once you have done all, so this is for Erber, this is for Matt. So if your wise has all 4 checkboxes filled in, so you've done all 4, you've used it for a success, a fail, a deep understanding, and then of course, you can either change the wise to a new one of your choice, or you can take a beginner's luck test towards opening up a new skill, or you can take a skill advancement, pass or fail at your leisure, as long as it is somewhat related to the wise. If you choose not to change the wise, it remains, and you don't lose it in exchange for the test. Once you've chosen your perk, reset all your 4 marks and begin again.
So you don't get another wise?
No, you only get another wise in the winter phase.
I don't know what phase that is. So.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool.
I can't help but feel that I have chosen my wise very unwisely.
I'm going to keep elf wise because it's actually worked out really well for us.
Right. Well, as an example, not like I'm trying to persuade you, you could turn it into Tol Amroth wise.
What's up?
That's the name of the dungeon that you're. That's the name of the dungeon.
We've been going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
So, like, this is how you can kind of like, you're like, oh, you've become more focused on this. You've been, reading the histories. You've been focusing on them, and so now it's not generic elves. It's just specific location. Like Bob has elf home wise. You could have Tol Amroth wise, and then you could pretty much use it for almost, well, not everything, but a lot of things. Yeah. But that's up to you. You don't have to do it. Or if you find that like you're like, I really want to be able to help GM Scott with these fucking cartographer checks, you could put in like map making wise or something like that, or you can change it to help what the party needs.
Wouldn't Tol Amroth wise benefit map making because we're in.
Yeah, probably.
Yep, exactly.
There's
You know
a lot
something?
of uses there.
Actually, and we're going to be messing around here for a while.
At least for the foreseeable future, you have a Gaius.
Unless you want to get killed.
We are destined.
So I guess it's how do you spell
Again, I could
I'll put
break
it in
a
chat.
curse.
Good
Just
curse.
text to me.
But you might explode.
I put it in chat, Matt.
Yeah. Sadok's kind of excited. He heard about all these brave hero stories in the tavern.
And now you're
He's
hanging
kind
out.
of living it. Yeah.
All righty. Well, you guys, we're at the end of the session. So let us do our end of session stuff. There it is. Okay. Let's start with Bob. We're going to start with earning fate points or persona points. So we're going to start with your belief. Bob, tell everyone your belief. And did you
belief?
act? Yes.
Yes, my belief is don't need anyone's help, especially not the guy from the Saturday's Party Vests. I only did this one time when I went and get my quiver.
Yeah, actually, would you say you played against your belief?
Most of today I did.
So if you did, I mean, because didn't you dramatically go up and put your arm on Urber?
Yeah.
So
100% I did.
If
that.
you act against your belief in a dramatic fashion, if you make a decision in the game that's counter to what you believe in, and you let everyone know about this, you earn a persona point instead of a fate point, but then you have to change your belief.
Time to change it.
All right.
I don't know how to change it to. We'll figure that out next session.
You can just delete it, but it can't be the same.
Now it's gone.
Your belief has changed, and you earn a persona point for that. All right, Sadok, what was your belief?
Safety before silver. I campaigned narratively, but mechanically and actions, I think I also acted against it. I swore I gave it.
Yes, you did. So you took the words right out of my mouth because I was like, well, the only action that you took that was really meaningful was stepping up and engaging that you will kill a dragon for this Elvis Spears. So you also gain a persona point, Sadok, but you also have to delete your belief and change it because you have changed what you thought about yourself and about adventuring. Tain, what was your belief?
Okay, well, to talk about my belief, I have to remind you that I changed my goal away from discovering the dagger right before we discovered the dagger.
Correct.
I changed my belief away from I don't trust these mofos right before I put my arm around the guy. So my belief was I believe the party needs to plan more before they act, which again I did narratively, but I don't think that really ever was brought up mechanically.
I agree, and also yes, you got hosed. That's.
But wouldn't that also be acting against it because we are not planned? This was
You know what?
Think about this at all.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, because you guys just decided to go full hog on this Gaius thing with knowing very little about that. So if anything, I would say you acted against your belief as well, and you can get a persona point, but you have to change your belief.
That's fine. I'll change it back to I don't trust these guys.
But again, when you change your belief because you change again, it should be reflect the narrative and reflect the fiction of what's going on. Which is not to say that maybe you don't trust them. I'm just saying that keep that in mind. All right, Boothby, what was your belief?
That I am the defender of the defenseless.
All right. I mean,
I am now the front line against this dragon as well.
Yeah, that's right. So you earn a fate point. You definitely did not play against your belief. And then Urber, laughing out loud, what was your belief?
Well, first I got to say, I'm sort of the glue that holds this party together because everybody seems to like me nowadays. So, I mean, I don't know how that works, if that's anything, but it was, I played into my belief because I was not leaving this damn freaking dungeon without the damn treasure.
In fact,
I believe that I will not leave the dungeon without.
Oh, you definitely earned your fate point. Matt was like, can we keep arguing with this ghost? I want to get more treasure. I really thought Matt was going to say we should use the map to go fight those skeletons in the tomb and get that. All right, so Matt, you're
not with the stack of conditions.
All right, fair enough. All right, next is your goal. Karanalas, what was your goal?
My goal was get the party back to town.
Persona point, you achieved your goal. Sadok, what was your goal?
I want to impress my team with my bravery.
Team?
So the one he talked about was getting the blessing, the geist, whatever it says.
Yeah, I say that. He walked up first and did it too, other than the elf.
Cut in front of me.
Yeah, well, see, I say he did.
All right. I mean, if your party agrees, Sadok, who am I to disagree? Sadok, you earn a persona point for accomplishing your goal. Tain, what was your goal?
Well, not the dagger.
Yep.
But when we changed it to explore the Dragon Vault.
Yeah, and you
which
succeeded. Yes. So
I believe we did.
you did. So earn a persona point. Amos, I believe yours was to get Kurt back to town.
Deliver the body of Kurt the Shepherd
You
Boy.
did
So
not.
we're made progress.
You did not specify that it wasn't in a bag, so you earn a fate point because you made progress. He still has to be given to his parents, but you'll probably be able to accomplish that next time. And then Erber, what was your goal?
Find some valuable treasure.
Well, you finally managed to succeed at that. So earn a persona point for that as well. All right, instinct. Did anyone benefit from their instinct? Remember, you can earn this even if you were exhausted. In other words, you had to have used your instinct, it had to have succeeded, and it had to have helped the party.
Call Adventure was too clean.
I don't know if mine helped. Matt's did because he found the head chopper trap. Erber did.
Yeah, but that was a fail.
But he
was granted
failed.
Success.
Oh, he failed.
Yes.
But
you have to have passed the chest.
I passed mine, but we just found the ghost guy earlier than we.
No, you saw that you would have seen the ghost guy regardless. You saw
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
you saw the treasure and the skeleton guardians.
Yes, I don't know if that helped us though. It's just something that happened.
All right,
I mean, I think you did. I think that benefited us. We knew more about that room than we would have had you not.
I mean, we definitely knew there was treasure there, but I don't.
I mean, Bob.
I'm on the fence about it.
I wouldn't. You made a check. You succeeded. It gave the party additional information. I wouldn't fight it too much. Obviously, Tain, you obviously succeeded there as well, so you get a fate point as well.
Finally,
for benefiting from your instinct for once. Sadok, yours is still to keep the party going.
A camp will always prepare a hearty meal.
Yeah. So definitely earn your fate there. Did anybody offer a grim assessment of their fate while staring down certain death? This is strictly for role playing in character.
No.
We stood in front of an ancient.
Yeah, but it's got to be. You got to give a quip. You got to give a gallows humor. This is a unique Torchbearer. Yeah, it's the gallows.
I mean, the only thing I can think of was the body in the bag. But that's...
You know what? The body in the bag, Erber, you get your fate point.
Bag.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah. being like I could throw the body in a bag was like. That was top notch. That was very good.
And the thing you might not have noticed, Derek, is that he shuffled the gold out of the bag and put the silver in there with the body so that the gold wouldn't get dirty.
All right, fair enough. Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Lastly,
we weren't funny enough this session. Wow.
Yeah. Lastly, we have the MVP and the team worker. As a reminder, the MVP is the person who made the critical role of the session, earning the MVP title. And then team worker is the character who worked the hardest to keep the group together, keep them in good shape, going to the person who, despite the risks, who spent their gear, sacrificed their conditions, and sacrificed their goals if it meant helping their companions. The same person cannot earn both.
My vote is for MVP for GM Scott, for the cartographer check, and then my workhorse would be.
Well, let's just do MVP first.
MVP would be GM Scott.
Anybody else disagree?
I think MVP would be Ryan for the salt comment.
Well, usually the MVP is the person making the roll, right?
Okay.
Like it's like that the one big roll.
I think that our position.
I have my belief.
Is so much better in Tol Amroth because of that map.
Yep.
I can't think of a single thing.
I don't know who it was.
I think that mine is because I might be Derek. I think the critical role of the night was Erber's maneuver against the ghost.
Oh,
no, it was a feint.
Feint, that's right.
Yeah, it was the
because
feint.
it took the feint. It took him from 7 to 2.
Yeah,
that was
huge.
Yes.
So my vote actually is for Erber because that feint changed the whole dynamic of that conflict and put the ghost on the back foot like from the beginning.
And that's the only reason we got the stacks of gold.
Correct.
All right. Well, then I'll give it. I'll go with that one.
So that was actually, I think, a huge roll. So Erber, I'm gonna keep. But you didn't make the roll. That is like, listen, the leader. You'd be a terrible manager. Yes, but who hired that person that did a great job on that?
I mean, that's good management material.
Well, I mean, I have to say, Dennis picked.
Dennis picked a great
setup. Really well.
It was a very nice little array there. Now, granted, you could totally argue that might be more of a teamworker thing, but Erber, I think the character Erber made the critical role, so Erber gained another persona point.
Oh, sick. Thank you.
And then team worker. So this is the person, the workhorse, the person who just kept making all the rolls, that kept everybody together, who sacrificed for the party, who took the hits, lost their equipment, gained conditions, all in the name of the party. So.
And it can't be Herber.
And it cannot be Herber. Yeah.
Right. I actually was going to give it to him because he gave me the check that got us the ability to even do all that stuff.
Yeah, but also Ryan for taking one check and curing like 6 conditions.
That's what I saw. You cured 10 conditions and one check.
100%. Yeah, the teamwork was definitely Ryan this time.
Well, and this is also where the little, maybe the need a little salt wise thing, is a good idea.
Yeah, you were on fire tonight.
You were helping a lot too with just your just random riddle checks and stuff like that. I think you were in almost every role you were in.
I felt like you were in almost every role. I agree with good users.
You can't beat the little hype man jumping around.
Yeah, hype man Sadak, who then threw a massive party at the camp.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, so Persona point for Ryan. All right, so that is going to end session number 3. We'll start with town phase. Sadak is at 3 and 2 spent.
So close. I was going to ask, is there something I could do before town?
You know what? Just because we have a shortened thing, I will let you, if you want, you could just burn a Persona point for nothing. And then get your 3.
Do that because I like to do that too.
Herber, are you in the same spot?
Yeah. Yes. Same spot.
All right. Anybody who wants to just literally throw away a Persona point can do so, and that will level you guys up. If it will level you up, only one.
You 3 and 3, right? That's the
you need 3
up.
and 3.
Okay, that's what I did.
But only one. So
as I say, if you give me a Persona point, I will burn all 3 of mine plus a fate point.
All right, so that
now,
also
do we clear all the dots on the traits right now?
Yes. Keep checks, but you don't have any checks. But yes, all your traits reset as well for the next session. So they're all clear. And you can use your traits in town and stuff like that if you want to. But you might even go back adventuring at the end of the next session. Town phase doesn't necessarily have to take the whole session. Depends on how much.
But we can't earn checks in town though.
Maybe.
Or could we?
You might be able to. I'm not sure. I know you can't earn checks in camp, but you might be able to in town. I'm not sure. So for the characters who leveled up, we can deal with that next time. But basically, your character becomes level 2. And then based off of your race or class or whatever you are, you will choose a new one of the 2 abilities for your level. So for example, if you are Bob, the ranger, you can choose to either get the essence of the earth, and he gets a permanent +1 die to recover from exhaustion, or he can choose born under the silver stars and gaining a permanent +1 dice to all Pathfinder, Navigator, and Sailor tests. So leveling up is not like, I gained 55 more hit points and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Roll D10 plus con.
Yeah. Not so much there, but you also eventually at certain levels you get, at level 3, you earn your creed, which is another way to earn Persona and Fate points. So, all right.
Cool. And then just because I didn't want to disturb during the game, that list of spells in the book, the only one I got was Wizard's Aegis. I didn't get a chance to write down the other ones.
If you hover over the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I tried double clicking it. Silly me.
Yeah. If you hover over the book, it has all the spells.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Etheric Appendage is, I think, like a telekinetic hand, mage hand, basically. Ethereal Premonition is kind of like an augury. Wizard's Aegis lets you pull out Doctor Strange circles that you can fight with. And then Destiny of Heroes is a level 2 spell. So, but Destiny of Heroes is a free action spell that increases the might of everyone in the party by 1.
Wow. Okay.
So it would turn you guys into might 4. So
how do you get might and stuff, anyways?
That's it.
When you level up,
if you level up near the end of the game, you get but most of the way you get might is from magical items and spells. Like the way that you would fight like a dragon is by like people like GM Scott casting a Destiny of Heroes spell and having a powerful, whatever.
Dagger of dragon bone.
Spoiler alert: the dragon bone dagger gives you +1 might.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If you write the recap, you get to remove a condition.
Yes, but it can't be second.
Order.
But it can't be second.
I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna start drafting it up. I'm gonna do it in character in the tavern. How I'm recounting our tales.
Um,
Darn.
yeah. Alleviate one condition: except injured or sick. There's no easy way out. There's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home. All right.
How do we get rid of Sicken?
In town, you can go to Sicken. You can try to you can spend money to go to see a healer. You can try to sweat out the fever and just try to like heal from it naturally. Blah 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 blah. There's a couple different ways with it.
Cool.
You know, with the money. I mean, one of the main decisions that you guys are gonna have to make. I mean, you're at a remote village, so your choices are somewhat limited. Is like, where do you want to stay? Certain places give you bonuses to recovery. Certain places give you automatic free recovery from like exhaustion and stuff like that. So,
And I believe that as part of our Gaius, we were supposed to spend our money on prostitutes.
there was no.
The ghost definitely said something about prostitutes and money.
Yeah, there was.
He did.
I think it was a little vague in that respect, but
He said he would give us the dagger so we could trade it for one night with a prostitute.
actually, you know what? I'm behind the, or I'm fucking up here. Where is it? Here we go. All right. All right, there we go. All right, you guys are in town.
nice.
It was cool to watch it literally unfold.
See some of the other map.
So so welcome to the remote village of Fairhill. And here you will find it's a simple town with not a lot of authoring. You probably won't be able to buy any plate armor here, but you might be able to buy some simpler weapons. Probably nothing like a crossbow or anything like that, but some simpler weapons, maybe some armor, shields if you've lost them, maybe a helmet or something like that. But it is a small town; it has somewhat limited options it has available to you. But you should be able to find some things here to spend your money. And certainly,
This is not the crossroads town that we set off from.
no. This is the town that's just
okay.
right. This is the town that's just like right nearby the dungeon. This is like where the peasants' families are from, where Boothby's so-called peasant people are from, and whatever. But no, yeah.
Of the Fairhill Sheepscars.
Yes.
Now, to be clear, you guys could stay here, and then at the start of next session, after you're done, you could travel to the crossroads town, and where basically, which is where like Sadok's family's from, I think, is right.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was.
But
Would that be considered a second town session?
yes.
Yeah, and then we would all die.
No. You would just gain conditions.
We would be hungry until we went back into the dungeon.
Correct.
So I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Does standing outside on top the pillars or whatever, the white pillars, does that count as visiting? Or do we need to go into the dungeon?
I mean, you just have to go to the dungeon. I mean, but to be fair, I mean,
We got the map.
the Gaius is not easily fooled. If you like step foot in the dungeon and leave, that does not reset the Gaius. Like you have to like make meaningful progress towards finding the harp and trying to actually go into the dungeon. The Gaius is not to be defeated by persnickety rules lawyering. The spirit is more powerful than that. But basically you have to go do a proper adventuring phase in the dungeon before your next town phase. Otherwise, the conditions will start to stack up. And because of their curse, they don't just go, it's a hunger and thirst that you cannot fill, right? No matter how much you eat, no matter how much you think. So you can't get rid of that condition until you go back to the dungeon. All right. Awesome. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. If you're following along at home, thank you again for joining us here. We had a little bit of a delay, but we are going to try to figure out here. Normally this group plays every other the first and third Sundays of every month. The third Sunday of this month is the 20th, which is Easter. So we won't be playing, but maybe we can figure out a time that these guys can make up the session, or we can get back to it. But and at some point too, guys, I would love to do one of these live. Get chat in there and have people live tweeting your guys' play.
Love it.
As long as there's no Wheel of Pain.
Yeah, there's no, not yet. Although a Wheel of Pain in the Torchbearer would fucking sick.
I'm out.
So no, I'd be in if we split it.
No. But think about it. The Wheel of Pain, right? Give them random conditions, whatever. Give them. But then, like, people could tip to give you Persona, Fate,
Okay.
checks. You know,
Back in.
yeah. I mean, that's way better than
Wheel of Pain.
Yeah.
I saw
Live's
they
back
did
on the menu,
first season of
boys.
Pathfinder 2 to Bob.
Look, I'm not working anymore. Okay, the channel needs to make money somehow. I need that.
Wheel of
I need that. I
Destiny.
need that Wheel of Pain, Wheel of Destiny money, like we were getting back at the end of Rise of the Rune Lords. Those are some. Those are still the largest streams that we've ever had in terms of money made. So, Pathfinder 2 was very good for us for that month or two. Turns out, just giving people the ability to randomly shit on or manipulate your game for cash was the key to success all along. I mean, think about how much money Critical Role would make if people could like tip to change the game.
Oh wow.
And
I did
Like tip it on the benefit of the players.
Yeah. We're a small nobody. You know, imagine what they could do. All right. But in any case, stay tuned. We'll have more games coming, and of course, with the change in my employment status, the nature of this channel might change up a little bit. We might be doing some different streams, some more streams, you know, trying to maybe do some stuff more middle of the day. Maybe I might stream some video games over on Twitch and simulcast on YouTube, and you guys can watch me play Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy, and some other stuff that we've been talking about doing for a while. And I've just hadn't had the time, both because my life was in shambles, but also, you know, I had a 9 to 5. And now I don't have one of those, and my life is slowly recovering from the other, although potentially reshambled by not having a job, but we'll see. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks to Bob, Ryan, Scott, Dennis, and Matt for joining, and we'll see you guys next time on Night's the Last Call. Peace.
Rock and roll, guys.